And we're back.
So, Ken, we've been playing Ember Knights lately.
I saw that. I mean, it looks great.
It's
I
fun.
want it.
It is like Hades, kind of. I would
Yeah.
describe it not nearly as complicated, but it is
Okay.
the same
not
style of
complicated,
game, but it's
but you like
local co-op. A local
Nice.
co-op rogue light.
Man, that's
Light.
sweet. Yeah.
Like light.
Rogue light. I would highly recommend saving up enough Ember. Saving up enough Ember to get multiple lives, because all of a sudden you can get a lot further into the game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I would
if I
think
don't
so.
take them all. Where? Okay.
We're live, baby.
Okay.
We're live.
I'm like,
Are you gonna go to Nerdfest, Ken? I'm just kidding. I know you can't.
Yeah, and isn't it in like 2 days?
It's
It's
next
next
weekend.
weekend. let me turn my phone off really
Yeah.
quick.
I'm saving up for QuinCon, to be honest.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah. That's
Cool.
prices on flights come down. But...
Well, I'm glad you guys could all make it to our D&D
that's right.
podcast. We're going to talk
Yo,
about
yo, yo.
all the stuff I've been working on for D&D, the stuff I got in store for the players in the future, and all the campaign writing I've been doing. So,
Nice.
first of all, I want to talk about what we've got in store for Quimber's storyline.
Look at, no, we're not talking about anything. Stop talking.
I was just saying, I'm saving up for QuinCon next year, Ryan.
Yeah.
You gotta let me know.
I purposely
gonna
don't have my
cancel it.
beer in a glass. I have it in
Oh,
a
that's
can.
right.
Actually, Natalie gave me these. There are some reds. What are these?
Hey, Brian, I have the last Arnold.
Arnie Palmer.
Arnold Parmy.
Ernie Permel.
Woo!
We need especially now that we've been playing D&D a lot, Quinn. We need a QuinCon spring and QuinCon summer or something.
Oh,
I need
man.
more. I just need more
Yeah.
board
Oh my
games in
God.
my life.
Do you? Like.
Hey, what's going on, Joe?
Hey, Joe. Okay.
Wow.
Well, the gang's all here.
The game.
You guys picked a good movie to walk through with us, actually. This one's a mess.
Yeah, Ryan, bust Palmer open. Join us. And then every time we say the hood, you can drink. How about that?
Ugh.
Should we have
I
like an
need to refer to him as the
assigned
hood, then.
word?
Twice what?
Twice two
for
QuinCons.
Oh, yeah. You need
QuinCon East
Heat
and
and
QuinCon.
QuinCon Freeze.
At like
Do a
east
song.
and west, and it's
Yeah,
like different
since
sides
it
of
stays in the
Midland.
same place every time, you got to come up with something
It's like
else.
downtown and at his house.
Right.
Yeah,
And there we go.
I need some QuinCon in my life.
Oh man.
Let's get this show on the
Okay,
road
are
then. We
we
got
ready?
a party going on here. The whole gang's here.
Oh,
All right.
gosh.
Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna hit the intro and we're gonna get to work.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Date Night D-List episode. Yes, this is a very special episode. We're going to cover Robin Hood from 2018. Emily,
Yes,
could you
yes.
tell everybody what the D-List is, please?
So the D list is our version of a box office bomb that we will watch for you and then tell you about it so that you don't have to watch it. And we'll be probably the worst critics possible, but you know, we'll try. We'll try. Here we go.
Look at this. We're talking about
Ooh,
Robin
cool.
Hood tonight.
Look at that.
Somewhere I have the IMDb. Let me tell you what Robin
Oh,
Hood is
here.
about.
It's the top.
I got it right here. A
okay.
war-hardened crusader and his Moorish commander mount an audacious Moorish commander
Yeah,
What?
what?
What are you
mount
talking
an
about?
audacious revolt against the corrupt English crown.
I don't know
Under
about
no
that.
circumstances was Little John his commander.
Yeah.
Nor
Not
was
at
he
all.
Moorish, but
Yeah. that too.
whatever.
So this movie had a budget of $100 million, and it,
Revolt against the corrupt English
you-
crown.
They
That's
also
not
don't
accurate.
do that. Yeah.
they don't really do that. But this movie only made about $84 million, so they were in the hole a little bit. Considering they had Jamie Foxx and some other big names, They definitely expected to not be in the hole.
Well, the biggest thing about this movie is I don't think I've talked to anybody who even knew
This
What this
existed.
that
was.
this existed.
I
Except
remember
for Ryan
seeing,
Quinn for some reason.
I remember
Ryan
seeing the
always knows.
trailer, and even the trailer was bad because they did. I never saw the Robin Hood with Russell Crowe.
I didn't either, and now I'm so curious.
Yeah, because this one sucks.
That's
Yeah.
I thought this was gonna be that, and I was kind of looking
No.
forward to
Oh,
it.
no, why
man,
would-
this was
That's
come
like
probably
on.
good.
Yeah,
I'm
that
trying
one's
to
probably
think of-
good. That's the gladiator
Yeah.
of Robin Hood's. Like,
this is like this is just let's try and make a Marvel movie really cheap.
yeah, it is very weird. Of like,
a Marvel movie and everything else under the sun. This is we'll get into this, but this movie is somebody saw a bunch of other movies and then was
Yes.
like, I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I want to do that, and I
This-
want to do that.
yes,
This reeks, and I looked it up. Would you be surprised if I told you this was the first movie this director ever directed? Because
no, not surprised.
You don't
you
say.
can, like, if
It's
this
very
person
much like
got to
he
make
had
a
a
movie,
couple.
anybody can make a movie.
Yeah,
Right.
There's just
yes, and you can tell what his favorite movies are.
yeah.
Like while
Transformers.
watching, you're like, okay, well, I know
Yeah.
that you like Batman.
Transformers.
Let's
You
do a
like
Michael Bay.
Transformers.
I know you liked Batman Begins, which I don't necessarily hate that they did the Batman Begins thing, but
No, but it's like
There's
rest
even
of
a
the movie's
Dark
so
Knight thing
awful.
in the
Yes.
the one time when they're riding on the trailer. It does the it
Does
does
it?
the like
with
truck.
like the carriage though.
Yeah, the carriage
Yeah.
flips
action
like
in
the
this
trailer.
movie is horrendous. Horrendous.
The occasional CGI is really
Ooh,
bad.
really
Well,
bad.
you know what's funny? Because I was watching it and I was probably an hour into it, and I was like, you know what this movie has going for it? A lot of this is practical effects, a lot of it, and then nope, never mind.
Then
It's
you
a lot
saw
of
that.
CGI like wagons and
Yeah.
like
was really
whole
bad
cities. Anyway,
Yeah.
It was like practical for a while. I felt like, and then it got crazy.
It did get a little crazy.
Yeah.
But all right, well, should we get into it?
Let's do this. Let's get
You
this
ready?
show on the road.
Okay. So Robin Hood opens up. Also, I don't know. Like it's always either the Hood or Rob, which I don't like
gross.
that his name is Rob.
I'm
And
fine
some
with
about that-
Rob. I don't like the hood, and then they take the hood so literal, it's beyond
it's the
belief.
Hood. Yeah.
And like, who wants get a hood? Like now you're like,
They're handing out hoods,
and they're
then the
nailing
people-
Also,
they
who's-
don't put them
the
on.
walls and stuff.
It's
and-
yeah.
I hated the first thing he says in this movie is, "I'm Rob,"
Yeah.
and I was like,
Ben looked at
Well,
me and said, "No," like right
"Here
away.
we go." Like his name can't be Robin; he's Rob, and I was like, "All right, fine."
low hanging fruit, right?
Yeah.
Whatever was easiest, they did in this movie.
Oh man. So it opens up as like this weird 3D book, almost looks like a comic book,
Yeah,
and
this
they're
was-
kind of like going through it, and it's weird. It's very like CG.
And there's
I don't know.
narration, right?
Yeah, so he says that this is a story about a thief, but not the thief you'd expect, or like something like that.
It's the thief you expect.
Why
And-
is there a narrator in the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know. And so it shows a girl going into a stable and she is going to like steal a horse. And then she runs into a guy that's when he's like, I'm Rob.
I'm Rob.
Um,
By the way,
And she's talking about like, oh, the people who live here don't even care. They're like rich douchebags, like whatever.
Yeah.
And the whole time he is like caressing her.
He
and
pins her to the
touching
wall
her.
first of all for
Yeah.
no reason, and then
he's
they're like
hey, what's up? He's like whispering in
they're
her
like
ear.
sniffing each other and stuff.
It's very strange. And he like calls her beautiful as he's like touching her, which I'd be like, can you back up? I don't know, like something. So he says she can have the horse if she tells him her name. So this is our maid Marion.
No,
This is Marion.
all right, here we go. Janelle says gross, and you know why
It
it's
is
especially gross? Because they have zero chemistry.
They
These-
have
Yes.
no.
No chemistry.
so it's
at all.
especially gross.
And whoever plays Robin Hood, it's what's his name, Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
Pretty good actor. His character is flat.
Yeah, he's
in
like
this
vanilla.
movie.
Like meh.
No charisma. There's no like
Mm-mm.
spirit inside of him at all. all. He becomes
not-
Robin
yeah.
Hood on accident because of Jamie Foxx's character.
Once again, he's not the mastermind. He's like the stupid puppet. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
So-
we've got
Yeah, so we meet
we
Marion.
got Marion.
There she is. And
Although
look
this
at
is
her.
a picture from much later in the movie because her attire
wearing
is
her
gotten
leather jacket
leather
in the
At some
jacket.
point,
mines.
they completely abandoned the costume department. Abandoned the idea.
Well, they were
of trying to meet the
go.
time.
No, they were trying to go for like a modern, edgy thing because,
so weird though.
but you can see what they were trying to do because in the first
Yeah.
action scene, every character
Yes.
has bows and they're literally like
They're machine
soldiers.
guns. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and they're
like you're in
moving like they're
Afghanistan.
machine guns, right?
Yes.
They're holding bows like this, like indoors.
Exactly.
Like he's gonna and
Literally,
then actual machine guns
But
that
that
fire
was like so
rebar.
off-putting
show
for
up.
whatever reason.
every bow in this movie, be it a normal bow or a crossbow,
Longbow,
could be
crossbow,
replaced by
ballista,
you
a
could
gun.
replace the
yeah.
longbows with a pistol, and you can replace the crossbows with like assault rifles.
Yep.
Yeah.
and you wouldn't even have to change the costumes.
No,
it
would
all
be
the
a
pyrotechnics are the same.
Everything.
Yeah.
The damage
just-
is the same. Like
Yep.
the arrows are out of control.
Here it is. Like look
Like
at this.
he even looks
He
like
looks
a
like he's about
2008,
Right?
Black Hawk Down. Like they're very clearly going for this modern.
I just don't. Something about
But
that
then-
I
is so
hated that.
off-putting, though.
It is weird.
don't
The whole
know.
thing and you can tell. Like I get, okay, I see what you're trying to do. It just feels weird.
Doesn't
I don't know what
work.
it is.
Well, exactly. I thought what they were trying to do came across like completely. There is
You communicated
it was not obscured
This
in
is
any
edgy
way.
Yeah.
Robin Hood.
I just hated what they were doing.
Hate it.
I didn't like what they were trying to do. I think they succeeded in what they were
They-
trying to portray. I just thought
That's
this was
true.
a stupid idea.
I don't buy it. Yeah.
The
was
premise of this movie is bad.
It was
Yes.
stupid because half
Yeah.
of it is like, yeah, but we have to go work in the like it. I don't know. Okay, we'll get to it. Okay, that's Marion though trying to steal a horse, and then all of a sudden they're in love because like he was,
Why not?
assaulting her in
Grinding
the
on her in the
stables.
stable, yeah.
So this one we find out though that Robin Hood is like a rich lord.
Loaded.
Like he's loaded.
And I like this
Um,
angle. I don't hate the Bruce Wayne Batman angle.
It's so Batman.
It's done
though,
poorly.
that-
It's so Batman.
that right away you go, huh? And then
Yeah.
later you're like, oh, he's Batman. Like
Yep.
that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But then of course the narrator comes back on. He's like, but this is no bedtime story. Which you're like, I don't know.
It's not that.
Oh,
that
did you
edgy.
write that down? I have that written down in quotes. This
you?
is no bedtime story.
They act though like it's gonna be really crazy, and it's not. It's very.
Well,
it's what
can
you
you
expect for
imagine
the
if
most
they
part.
were working with $20 million? It would just be like blood everywhere. Just like this movie could have been really bad.
It'd be like a transformer came out of the hay or some shit.
Right.
Like, it would. Yeah. So we find
Gross.
out Marion and Rob are dating. They're in love, and apparently all they do is make out all over his like
Heck yeah.
estate.
Nice.
And then he gets a knock at the door. I can't talk. Sorry. And it's a draft notice for the Crusade of Arabia. So he's got to go, baby. So
Yep.
then we cut to 4 years later, which that's a long effing time.
Yeah.
But like, okay, this is the first part that they lose me because I'm like, he gets a draft notice to go to a crusade from the sheriff.
Well,
like,
it's like
and
the
he's
it's
clearly a
cool.
wealthy
It's nowadays.
person.
he's a
And it's
wealthy
like,
noble.
Yeah.
You
that'd
tell
be-
me you
Hey.
can't just buy out of this?
Yeah.
A wealthy
That's the
nobleman
first thing you would do.
Yeah.
gets a draft notice to go on
From
a
the
crusade
sheriff.
from the sheriff, and I was just like, "Well, you lost me already.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Somebody
but this
did
is
not go through grade school like politics or government.
also doesn't
This
make
is
sense
so
later.
insane.
Because later you find out people who are like poor were like, whoa, did you come back from the war? And I'm like, were you not there?
Yeah, who are they sending?
You just sent the rich? That wouldn't happen.
Well, it's just so funny because I just recently was listening to some stuff on the Crusades about how, like, in war in those times was like
Whoa.
an opportunity for people to be like, the people who signed up were the people who were like this is something for me to do. The whole
we
rest
had
of my
nothing
life,
else to
I'm not going to
do.
go 10 miles from my village.
Huh.
And now I get to go all the way to the Middle East. Like, sign me up. I'll come back like Bilbo with
Yeah.
frickin' bags of gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they drafted a noble into it was
Yeah.
by the
It was
sheriff, I
weird.
was like, this is crazy.
Doesn't make any sense.
Now later on, I think this makes more sense later when you find out like what the sheriff is up
Yes.
to and why
But-
he maybe would wanted to have gotten rid of the nobles
The
in the
rich
area.
people. Yeah.
That's
but
true.
it's still,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
But in the beginning, I was like, this is
I
insane.
mean, yeah, and they could have explained this away with one line that's like, I'm eliminating political figures by sending them on the Crusades, which
Yeah, right, like
would make
something.
total sense, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Janelle, that's
Yeah.
the point I was trying to make, right? It could be an adventure and build a career. Like that's the kind of
That is
people who's
true.
like young people signed up to be like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is my opportunity.
So this is that picture, Ben, number 3, when he's fighting in what looks like the Afghan.
Oh yeah,
Let's call
this is
it
the
a
Iraq
red
War.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is I like how you said Black Hawk Down, Ken.
that's
This is
exactly
look like
what
that.
it is.
classic Marine or
Yes.
like
Yeah.
Call of Duty, like
Yep.
assault scene. Like they looked like U.S. soldiers
Yes, specifically.
assaulting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when the bad guys, when they're shooting at them, first of all, they're essentially loading a machine gun, but it's arrows.
Oh, it's a
And it
machine
is-
gun.
It's going
We're
through
talking
like stone. Like it is
probably-
breaking buildings
yeah.
apart.
It looked
30
like the
rounds.
Matrix.
It did.
60 rounds per minute.
Yeah.
It's funny
And
you
it's
mentioned
like
the Matrix
like
because
rocks are shooting. Like
later, even some of the more
Oh,
like
it
civilian
gets
stuff
crazier.
looks Matrixy, right?
Yes.
It's all
Yeah.
very clean and fake and sanitized in a weird way.
It looked like the lobby from the Matrix, where
Yes.
they're like when he's
Where they're
hiding behind the
just- yeah.
columns.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
like columns blowing up. There's like tons of machine guns,
Exploding.
but they're like arrows. I was like, what the hell?
They show them every once in a while. You get a glimpse. They're crossbow bolts that are like 8 inches long, about a half centimeter or a centimeter in diameter, and they're just steel. It's just
They're
iron.
steel.
I was so checked out already, and
This movie
I'll say
sucks. Talk about check out. Yeah.
it drew me in as the movie goes on. It drew me in, but in the
Really?
beginning,
Oh,
it was
man.
so out there. It was so.
It is very out there. Yeah.
yes.
It was so like not what I wanted from a Robin Hood movie.
Yeah.
A
That's not what you
modern day
expect.
war movie, except we CGI'd all the bullets into arrows. I didn't
Yeah.
Was
want that.
So they're getting, it shows like him and his troops, they're getting shot at. He sneaks off and essentially like perfect shots the guy with the machine gun.
The guy on the machine gun, when we say crossbow machine gun, we mean that literally.
I couldn't find a
Right.
photo.
There's a dude in a tower firing
Yeah.
arrows like is
Yeah.
about how fast they're coming out.
And then another one happens where they put it on their shoulders. There's two
Oh,
guys.
it's
It's like
it's a big shotgun. He
Yeah,
just
and it's the
blows,
same
like,
thing where it
80
does like
bolts
8.
out.
Yeah, it does like 8 at once. And when that
a
one
shoulder
happens,
like rocket propelled
Yes.
crossbow.
that's what it is. But when it happens, it shoots Rob's guys, and like 8 go down at once. Which I'm like, were they perfectly spaced? Like
yeah,
it didn't.
of course they were. Legolas style.
So
Yeah.
shit starts getting crazy, and that's why I wrote down Legolas style right here.
Imagine you combine Lord of the Rings, The
Yes.
Matrix, and Transformers.
And Batman.
And
Yep,
Batman.
Batman
Yeah.
Begins.
He's definitely Bruce
Have
Wayne.
you guys ever seen
Yes.
the movie Equilibrium?
Uh,
It's
Yes,
you probably
with I
Christian
think
Bale.
You made me watch it.
It's
I think
it's
with
Christian
you.
Bale, but The
That's
Matrix,
what- Yes.
and it's
Oh, I've
arguably
never
better.
seen
yes,
But-
it is really good.
Everything about the scenery in that movie reminds me of the scenery in this
Yeah.
movie. It's
That is
all hygienic superstructures in England. Like I don't understand it. And everybody's
Well-
wearing leather shit, like leather lab
They
coats.
love leather in this movie too. I don't get
Why
that.
is the sheriff's outfit like that?
Hold
weird
on, we're not even there
gray
yet.
leather.
The outfits
Even at
are
the
like
end when it's a different
talking
sheriff.
point.
It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same guy. It's the same outfit.
Okay, when they're in the middle of their Legolas fight, though, this is when the commander is like, we got to fall back. And he starts yelling to signal the stone throwers, which, why was this not done first?
Yeah, they're
Get
on
out
some
of
sort
the
of like,
town.
again,
and
it's Black Hawk Down, right? We
it
send
doesn't
in
make
a
any
squad
sense.
to knock out the
Yeah.
insurgents. And
So, like, the most insane giant boulders. And when I say, like, giant, like helicopter size are
yeah, they shoot
flying
a flare
into town.
for the artillery strike, and within an instant, like
They're set up.
cars, Chevy
Yeah.
Tahoes, Suburbans are
Flying
being
in.
thrown into
You're
this city.
so right. They shoot a flare
Yeah.
with a bow, of course,
Yeah.
and then they bring in the
The
artillery.
biggest crap. Which, why wouldn't you not go in the city and just do that first to flush them out? Like,
And
wouldn't that be 101?
while this may change soon in what you're saying, at this point, like Robin Hood is a crusader, and you can't root for the crusaders. You're like,
Right.
this
You're
is
kind of a
messed up.
douche.
And I thought, and I wrote down here, Nick did it better. I thought the Crusades were shown better in the Nick Cage movie.
This? Do they have elephants to load these? Yeah, right? Like, why
Yeah.
don't we just get into every other, or this, or trolls? Like,
Like
I
you're,
wouldn't be
you're
surprised.
right.
You could
except
tell
it's
me
like,
there was a troll in this battle, and I would
And I'd
have
be like,
to believe
okay.
you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
Well,
have-
or you could throw in trolls, or you could replace every bow with a gun and not change any
Yeah.
other effects, and it would be the same.
Yeah.
Like it was totally 100% like
Ugh.
they're running in with M16s. Like it was
Yeah.
weird.
So this is when they're all trying to get out of town because, like you said, Ken, like trucks are being thrown into town. And Jamie Foxx shows up. So this is when he is about to kill Rob. Like, he has him in a headlock. He's like choking him. He's about to kill him. And then someone comes up and like slices off his hand.
cuts his hand. That was pretty.
Clean off.
That was a
which I
fun
didn't
little
expect.
surprise. Yeah, I was not ready for that.
I wrote, whoa, right away. So then they all like haul back to their little camp or whatever. Back at camp, they're torturing people and like, you know, people they've captured and whatnot and killing them. Rob isn't in love with it.
Hold
So-
on. Camp is World War I trenches.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
trenches.
Yeah,
for
they are.
no
Yeah.
reason.
Which
For-
doesn't
And they
make
have-
sense. in
Why
the-
are they
like-
trenches? There's no gunfire.
They have prisoners to spare. It's hard to
Oh.
believe there's anybody in that city because they're
Why
all
there's anyone
chained up in
left.
these
They
trenches.
are all chained up. Like there's there's a
Yeah.
lot.
There's more prisoners.
I would say we
than
won the war.
soldiers.
Like we would be good.
Why were there trenches?
And
I
they're
don't
just
know.
offing them. They're just cutting off heads
They're cutting off heads
to get
So
rid of them.
this is when Rob is like, they're not. Well, also he's like, they're not even armed, and I'm like, well, but what? Like that? I don't
Also,
know. That
also, you've been here 4 years. You told us like 30 seconds ago you've been here 4 years. You're just finding this out now.
Yeah,
Oh, you
now
know
he's
what?
like,
they
whoa,
say,
are we
oh, it's
doing this?
new orders from.
oh, is that what he says?
That's how he explains
Okay.
it away. Yeah,
I'm surprised you wouldn't have seen that in 4 years.
yeah.
So the captain's like, bring out another. And this is when you find out it's Jamie Foxx's, we don't know his name yet, his son. And so he's like begging them, I'll tell you whatever you want, just save my son. Also, he like knows really great English, which I don't know.
Whatever.
Okay. I don't, yeah. And so the commander's like, then tell me something. He doesn't have much info. And in the end, then Rob tries to save his son, which once again, in 4 years, I'm surprised that you're like,
This is
this
it.
is wild all
Yeah.
of a sudden.
Huh.
But he like cuts a bunch of prisoners loose. Chaos happens. The son still gets beheaded, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh man.
Which
For the story had to happen.
yeah, and
Unfortunately.
the commander shoots Rob right in the stomach. Like
One
arrow
of-
to the stomach.
One of multiple killing shots to Rob during this movie.
I don't understand how he's
That's true.
alive. And they're like, take him home. He's out of the army
He goes,
or
if you
whatever.
weren't a noble, I'd kill you right now.
But also,
Yeah.
like, I feel like a shot to the belly is death back then. You
Yeah,
just
for
shot
sure.
me in the belly. Like, that is
Yeah.
not. So then you see him on a ship heading home. But who's snuck under the ship? It's Jamie Foxx, guys. I don't know how he survived on that ship ride. He doesn't
No
have food or water down
no
there.
water.
And he's
Yeah,
like
no
in
hand.
the very bottom. Yeah, he's missing a hand that just freshly got cut off, too.
Yeah.
There'd be a big infection there. But he also rides along. So we find that out.
Yeah.
Okay. So then we get back home, and the
Okay.
castle
We're
is
back.
looking rough.
Yeah.
So he gets back home, or
The
whatever.
castle
his-
looks like it's been empty for 20 years.
Yeah.
it does.
And also, it looked like it got physically attacked,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's like,
Yeah. There's like
holes
shit
in it.
What
knocked
is
down
up with
everywhere.
that?
I don't-
Yeah. And as soon as he gets back, he's like, Marion? Like, she's just still hanging out in the kitchen.
In
It's
the
been
broken
4
castle.
years. Like, she's obviously not there. So then he goes to check on the priest. Hey, what's up, Friar Tuck?
He goes to
Oh.
confession.
Yeah, he
did I
goes to
not put
confession.
together that that's Friar Tuck? Jeez.
Yeah, and Tuck is like, whoa, what up? We thought you were dead 2 years ago. We had a funeral and everything. And so
There
there's
is
Tuck.
Friar Tuck.
And he is not the Tuck I wanted.
No.
I'm going to tell you that right now.
Nobody
I-
in this movie is the character.
Here's the
that you
Tuck
want.
I wanted. Here's the Tuck.
This is the Tuck you wanted. I
Yes.
wanted that.
Everybody's
Friar-
bad though. Lil John's bad.
Yeah.
Rob's
Also-
bad. Marion's bad.
Yeah, Marion's not the Marion I wanted
But you
either.
specifically wanted this
I wanted
haircut.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Obviously.
Anyway, Tuck is like, whoa, you should tell everyone you're alive. So after he died, the sheriff took his property, like threw out Marion. I guess she was living there. I don't know. And then this is when Tuck says most of the people were driven out to the mines. Okay.
the mines.
This is when we see the mines.
Out of
'Cause
there-
Rob runs over. So when
Out
I,
of Nottingham. Who lives in Nottingham?
Yeah, nobody.
I don't know.
Because all the royals are dead in the Crusades, and all the commoners
true.
got sent to the mines.
The
There's
mines
no
are
one's-
like the opposite of mines.
Mines
though.
is like a steampunk. Well, here I'll
it's
let you.
Mortal
Yeah.
Engines.
I think they mine steam.
on
is
a
what's
mountain.
That's what
Yeah.
they're getting.
It is like where they birth the orcs in Lord of the Rings. It is
Yeah.
that mixed with Mortal Engines. That is the mines.
And
And I don't get it.
The strangest thing about the mines, what they're mining is not relevant. They don't
No,
even
I don't
talk
know.
about it. Yet everyone in
Nothing.
the town at a
You're in the
certain
mines.
your public status is of 4 or lower, you got sent to the mines.
But also, if everyone's at the mines, I guess we're all this. Like,
Well, that's what
They
I'm saying.
never, but they
Yeah.
never even show a mine.
That's
they never
true.
show
no,
anything
it's
being
like a
mined.
mountaintop thrill ride.
It's-
Like,
they-
I don't
we- it-
understand.
you know what it
Spit
looks like?
fire every once in a while.
It looks like at the
Yeah.
end of Terminator 2 when they're in the like steel
It does
Yeah.
at the end when
place
they're going
and there's
through
like
it.
sparks falling and there's molten metal every. Why? I don't.
First of all,
like
the-
how's that a mine?
The place is a giant wooden structure. So
Yes.
the fact that there is fire and sparks everywhere
Yes.
is a major hazard.
It's
right there.
like a multi-story
Yeah.
labyrinth of wood.
Like, you know, when you see those really old kid parks?
It's
There
like
we go.
this.
Yeah.
And it's all wood.
It's a wood roller coaster. That's all it is. Everywhere.
So if someone's like, yeah, the lava and the spark, like, that's the last thing I want near all
Yeah.
that. It doesn't, I don't know.
Why are there so many sparks?
There's so
Why
many
are there
sparks
where are the
later.
sparks
From the
coming from?
mines.
What year
They're
is this
mi-
movie shot in? Or supposed
When
to
did
take
the
place
third
in?
crusade take place? That's the
Like-
It
official.
doesn't line up.
1100? Like,
All right,
Okay.
I'm gonna look it up while you guys
so
talk.
he goes to find Marion, and she's handing out, like, soup or something to kids, helping people. She's with some guy who's kissing her. She seems great.
It's
She's doing great.
It's what's his name? It's
It's
Gray.
Jamie.
Mr. Gray.
I don't know his last name.
Jamie Dornan?
The
Yeah.
third crusade was
Is-
1189 to
Wow.
1192.
So this
Okay.
is like 11XX. This is some sort of like fanfic, alternate history.
This. So when did the leather jacket come into style?
gotta
Apparently
cross-reference
right
leather.
now.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently in 1189.
But Marion seems like she's doing great. She's happy. She's like kissing some guy. She's handing
Yeah.
out stuff at the mines. This is picture number 5, Ben. This is her and her boyfriend Will. She seems fine. So this is when
I
he
need to
sees
look
her.
up-
Also, she's
Okay.
always dressed like she's about to go to a party for someone who lives in the mines. Like, she's wearing a velvet dress. What are you doing? Everyone else is in like the dirtiest clothes
She's
possible.
on soup duty though.
Also, I don't know. She's very like goth almost through most of this. It's not the Marion I
They're
expect.
the two main characters, Rob and Marion, are so bland.
And yeah.
There's
Right?
nothing of there's no chemistry between them, first and foremost.
No.
But then they're both written like wooden dolls. They just,
It is true.
it's unbelievable how boring
Ugh.
they are.
So Rob sees him kissing, so he throws up. He's so sick inside. And this is when Lil Jon comes over and he's like, hey, it's you. We have unfinished business. Which I'm like, I don't know if you had to come all this way.
Wait,
for
he's
that.
not Lil Jon yet. He's
Well, no, I don't know what his name is.
Oh, wasn't
Arabian
the whole
attack
thing?
commander.
Yeah.
Is who
Wasn't
he
the whole
is.
thing like Richard the Lionheart was gone he was in the Crusade?
Could
In
be.
this?
Yeah. No, I think in the traditional Robin Hood
Oh,
story,
okay.
he's gone,
Yeah.
which allows him, the sheriff of Nottingham, to get away with it.
Here he is, Richard the Lionheart.
There he is.
Where's his leather jacket?
Look at that like chainmail collar.
It's nice.
Oh.
How
That's
fancy. Who said it's nice?
Me. Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so he's not Lil Jon yet, but Jamie Foxx essentially like charges him and he's like, we have unfinished business. And so he's like, I've never had anyone try to help me, which I'm like, I don't know if you need to like come across the ocean for this, but okay.
Yeah.
And then he gives him a speech about like rich men are getting richer and we should stop it, which once again, I don't know if you would really care that much about like English guys getting rich
Well,
to come.
He came with Rob. I don't know how he knew this, but he came to Nottingham because they say earlier, or actually in this scene, Nottingham is the beating
Is that
what
what
do
he
they say?
says?
the beating heart and the bank of the Crusades. So just by pure luck, Jamie Foxx's
Okay.
character finds himself in
He just was
the town that is funding the crusade.
okay. So maybe that, but like,
No Prince John. Sorry.
yeah, there's no Prince John in here. He doesn't
Yeah.
ever show
No
up.
Prince John, no Richard the Lionheart.
No.
But they
This
were
is
saving
the-
that for the sequel, which boy do they push hard for at the end.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
not
Sequel
gonna
coming.
happen.
I mean, here's the
Sorry.
fashion of the times. Like, this is what they should have been
Look at
wearing.
All
this.
leather, baby.
The way
Look at how poorly drawn. I feel like
I
this
feel
is like
like-
me trying
no,
to
look
draw
how
it.
You know
great
what's
this
crazy
is.
though? Like I took a lot of art in high school, and we spent a lot of time on what I don't know what they called it, but basically the discovery of being able to draw perspective. And there's
Oh,
like these
yeah.
early drawings and paintings and stuff where people didn't understand perspective right, and so they drew Jesus, dead, laying sort of feet towards you, and it just looks like a weird squished person because there's no concept of like
Yeah.
the feet should be bigger and the head should be smaller so it looks farther away. Like it's just this. I should find whatever.
I love that
painting is.
someone's like, that looks good, right?
Like
And
somebody
they're like,
tried
"Sure."
really hard to make it look right, and it's just trash. But it's a famous painting because of it. I should find
Trash.
Oh, man.
Oh my gosh.
Well, were you guys, did we get to, I got so distracted
Okay,
by looking up the 3rd
we're
Crusade.
just at Jamie Foxx said, hey, what's up?
Okay, so we haven't talked about when the sheriff is giving his speech
We're
to the
just
crowd.
about to get there.
All right,
so
okay.
that's what happens next. So this is when Rogue One joins the picture.
Man,
And
if
this
he
picture
wasn't
number
in this,
6,
I
Ben.
don't think I would have finished this movie because he's the only
So-
person doing any acting.
He is, but also, is he not the exact
He's
same
off-
character?
Oh, he's straight out of Rogue One.
Like, he walked over from
What-
the Rogue
Did this
One
come
set.
out first?
No, this was second.
This was
Oh yeah,
second.
no,
I-
he walked to the next
Yeah.
hangar that they shoot movies
And
in.
they said,
And I
they
feel like
they
that
said, keep
wasn't-
your same
keep the
clothes.
leather
Keep-
jacket on.
keep it-
Exactly.
keep
That's
it
my
on.
whole point. They said keep it on. This was not his decision. Somebody came up to him and said, "Play that same character
Yes.
again."
Yes.
And
Yep.
he said, "Okay."
Okay.
And then he did.
Also,
Yep.
they're like clean cut haircuts to the point of like, I don't
But there's
know.
also dirty filth people.
Oh yeah.
It's so I don't know. Like
No.
it
Then,
really.
Let me try to find an
clashes
example of like
sometimes.
dirty filth.
Ben, go to picture number 6 though, so we can see the Rogue
But
One
here's the
guy.
thing. All right, let
What was his name in Rogue One?
I don't remember.
Krennic.
Director Krennic. Yeah.
He's so good in that.
Okay, so like
He
there,
is- that guy's a-
she is like
That guy's
modern
a world-class
dress.
actor.
Look at these two
Look-
queenies,
right.
and look at the people around
Look at the
them.
people around them.
Well, they've been working the mines.
But then look at this guy. This is supposed to be from the
Woo!
same time period.
Dude looks good.
Look at
Man.
that. Look at
that coat.
Look at his shirt. Look
Well,
at his shirt.
His like collar,
If
like the
you
little
told
collar.
me, if you told me this was
The
a
Star
scene
Wars.
from one of the most recent Star Wars movies
go,
or
yeah.
shows, I'd be like, yeah. Yep,
Absolutely.
that's a planet.
Yeah.
That's a different planet.
Right. Some Star Wars planet.
Like this was
That's- yeah.
like this is out of Andor. This could be a
Well,
screenshot
okay, you can
from
also see
Andor.
their crossbows. They look like
Yes,
machine guns.
they're machine guns.
Which you can
Right.
see back
The
there.
coat is amazing. I agree, Joe. The coat
I would
is
wear
amazing. I would
the hell out
love
of
that
that.
hat coat.
and
That's
that like
such a
leather
badass
undercoat.
coat.
Whatever's under
Yeah,
it, the wool,
leather-
like
or
the
not
long
leather, wool,
vest.
yeah.
Yeah, with the one clasp.
Man, what a look!
Look at that
that's
haircut though. We're supposed to be like
badass.
this is
I need that
1180
haircut,
or
too.
whatever.
1189.
That doesn't, wow, that doesn't even look like him.
No, this is a weird picture.
That's looking weird.
Let me
Why
look
does
up
that
director
not-
Krennic so I can find another
Yeah,
picture for
can
the
we get them
movie.
side by side?
It's gonna
God.
be if it was just the same outfit.
I bet he shot those movies simultaneously.
He had to, and they were like, "Your makeup looks great." Like when
Yeah.
he came onto the set, they were like,
Yeah.
"You're looking good."
Yeah,
So
and all the bad guy soldiers have these like one
that mask,
piece mask.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's very like Jason, but
it's
Yeah.
like dystopian. Yeah,
So the sheriff, though, Rogue One sheriff, he's giving a speech about how evil everyone else is in the world, and they need the taxes for the
Man.
war. Man, look at him there.
How do I
Same
get
character.
these like side by
I
side?
don't think you can. I don't.
I
There's,
can do this. I
Okay,
can.
you work
There's a
on it.
way I could. This can be done.
Hey,
but he's
Grandpa,
saying
don't break the computer.
the taxes are for the war, so that no foreigners come in and like ruin their church and ruin their town, and so obviously
Yada,
it's
yada,
just
yada.
throwing out lies to everyone. We get it.
No, but I thought that this scene this movie came out in 2018, right?
Yeah,
This scene where he's like the attackers from Arabia are going to come and they're going to burn down your town.
pretty intense.
Very like now
Like-
though.
The way he is fear mongering the people.
Oh yeah,
I know.
into
I was
being-
like,
in putting all their money into the war effort.
it's pretty
the
good.
Way it is such a modern,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
present day twist on politics. It was so obviously like of
It's-
our current time.
And it's on the nose, I think, on purpose.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
This
Yeah.
movie is on the nose on purpose quite a few times.
Right. Like we all know it's bullshit. Even the people,
Yeah.
well,
the smart people
Some.
know it's bullshit.
It's
but
like,
half
not
of
all
the people out in that crowd are like,
Are
oh
mud
my God, they're
scrapers.
going to come
Yeah.
kill all of us.
Yeah.
I guess we got to do something about it. And you're just like, man, I hate how realistic this
Been
is.
there,
I know
done that.
that was-
my
I
man.
hate this. And it
Yeah.
just hurts.
it does.
It hurts
does a
to
little
see
bit.
that.
Well, okay, but when he's saying this, Marion and her BFF, they're like talking back to him, where they're like, "Well, how come you
Yeah,
don't
this
join
was
the war
weird.
then?" You know, and they're kind of like, which
Just
also,
yelling from the crowd.
also, I want to be like, you would be like instantly murdered if
Yeah,
you
you'd
said
be
that.
crossbowed. They'd shoot
Yeah.
you with an explosive bolt.
But that's
Right?
when also
Turn to
her and,
miss.
her and her boyfriend, you're like, okay, so the boyfriend's not a bad guy. Like he
Right.
seems
Not
fine.
yet.
He seems
Not
great.
yet.
Well, I kind of don't like that they made him fine and then yes, look at that hair. It's exactly the same. Man, gosh.
I don't even know. Oh, Sheriff of Nottingham, I guess is his name.
Yeah.
Did he have a
Um,
name though?
No.
So
Man, look at how good he looks.
he is man, he's so
Like
good.
Look at that
outfit of the
coat.
day.
Yeah. But I would take
So
either
anyway,
one
But
of these.
look at like
I'm
his
wearing my
leather
white
coat.
cloak from this is Empire issue cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You need
Can-
it
if
over
you-
that wool
it-
like vest.
Well, if you wear the wool underneath, you could either do the leather coat or the cape. You could
You
go
could
either
switch
way.
any one of these.
Yeah.
This is a total like these are
this coat
Classic
over
Staple
this.
closet
pieces.
staples. Yeah.
You could just right. You get one of these and then
But-
one of these.
Okay, if someone said the one on the left is Star Wars and the one on the right, you'd be like, yeah, I get
Yeah.
it. Like they could switch.
These could be from the same movie. Like,
well, he played the same character.
you could show me the one on the right of him on the Star Destroyer, and then it could wipe to the left and go directly to this other picture on the left, and I would buy it.
Yeah.
100%.
right?
Right?
He's like
It
in a
could
meeting
go-
on the left. Yeah.
Right. They're like, okay, you have to go planet side. White, and there it is. And
Right?
I
Think
would,
about that scene
It's that
from the
same-
beginning of
okay,
Rogue One
they
where
have the
he's
same
standing out in the rain, in the
Yeah.
wind, and it's
Yeah.
blowing his cape around.
It's that one.
Gosh, let's talk about that's a good movie. Let's talk about that.
Pretty
movie.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
kind of the opposite of what this is about. So. Okay, but the sheriff is like saying all this. They're talking back, and then Friar Tuck is like, "Yo, Rob's alive."
Yeah.
And
what?
Everyone
You're
is
never
like,
gonna believe
What
this."
are you talking about? And then one of the other
Stop the presses.
priest church members or something looks pissed, and he looks at Tuck like, "Shut the fuck up, bitch!" Like he gives
Yeah.
him a look that where you're like, "Sorry that I just notified you
Are
of
you
this."
kidding me right now?
So then back at the house, this is
Wait,
when.
Can I pause
Oh
again?
wait,
'Cause
yeah,
I,
keep going.
I'm upset by a lot of the discourse in this scene because
Oh.
doesn't make any sense with the time frame or even how this movie plays out. Because Tuck tells director Krennic that they can't invoke this new tax because Robin of Locksley is
Needs to,
alive,
like,
so he
vote.
should get to vote.
Yeah,
Which, okay, so who are the other voters? Because they're either at war or like who
yeah,
they have this weird vote
they're
thing,
dead
and,
or something.
and
Like,
director Krennic just kind of like harumph
Well,
and like that.
damn.
yeah.
Right.
Well, that's
it's like
what
this
that's.
weird, like, oh, I forgot we
Yeah.
have to vote about this shit. Sorry.
Well, that's when the other church member gives him that look, and Tuck is
Yeah,
like,
but-
"Oh shit!" Like I shouldn't have brought
There-
that up.
there's no other voting members
It
shown
doesn't-
in this.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
it
There's
doesn't make
no
any
one
sense.
else that gets a vote except for director Krennic and Rob
Just robbing him. That's it. They own the
in the
town,
church.
apparently.
I don't get it. Like,
What?
anyway.
I don't know.
This is right. Like, oh God. I just
No, we don't have to deep dive. It's one of many bad
Yeah.
interactions in this movie.
So then Lil Jon, well, he's not Lil Jon yet. He's saying how like, okay, we're gonna like take the money. We're gonna take the money from people in power. He's like, you can steal it, take them down, all this crap. They kind of go over it. So he's like, okay, what's your name? He says his like original name, his Arabian name or whatever.
Yeah.
And of course, Rob is like, I don't know how to say that. Which I just want to be like, oh, stop.
There's a couple jokes where he like
He's
tries
like,
to say it.
and you're like, please stop. And he's
Yeah.
like, you can just call me John, you big.
Although I
fucking
think
idiot. like,
Jamie Foxx's character does say, "Please stop."
yeah,
and like
he's like,
so he
just
gets embarrassed.
call me
so,
John.
Yeah.
So that's Lil Jon.
No, not call me John. It
It's the
translate to John.
No.
John.
This has
No, it
always bothered
doesn't.
me.
That's
no,
what
it
he says.
doesn't.
He says
Yeah,
it
he says it
translates to John.
translates.
That's so embarrassing.
Because
This
at the
is
end
wh-
of the movie, don't you remember when
Yep,
he says
the guy
his-
literally translates it to John.
he says it to Friar Tuck, and he's like, "Oh, well, that translates to John."
why
so I'll
would
just
it
call you that."
translate to John?
It translates to John.
It doesn't translate to
No,
anything.
does.
That's
It's
not
a
how names
name.
work.
It's a
It's not like
pronoun.
a place. That doesn't make any sense.
It translates to John. This is not a movie that was made in 1982. This is 2018. Like we are live in a world with the internet.
The
like
fact that
people know
Oh, okay.
that it doesn't translate to damn
Can't
John.
like I wouldn't go to
Doesn't tr-
another
it doesn't
country and be like, my name
translate
translates
at
to
all.
like it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
You
It's
could
the
say that
same
like,
name.
oh,
You
it's
could-
an equivalent or it's similar to,
Or like
right?
shorten it to like
Right. Or
But you
I've
don't-
decided to go by John here in
it doesn't translate.
The Matrix.
Okay.
anyway.
So their plan though. Do you need to talk then?
No, go ahead.
Their plan is at night they'll steal, and during the day you'll still play your old self, pretend to
Bruce
be
Wayne
rich
and
again,
Batman.
find out insider information. But here's my thing: wouldn't people be like, where are you getting all this money? You just got back from a 4-year war.
He's really throwing cash around.
And like, where wasn't like everything taken from you? Where is all this money coming from? Do you have like a reserve somewhere? I don't understand.
Yeah, and nobody bothers to look, which is what makes it weird,
Nothing.
right? If you
Right.
told me that he was throwing around cash and the sheriff was like, okay, somebody look into this. Where's he
Yeah.
getting his money from? Because the sheriff isn't dumb in this movie
No,
necessarily.
but instead they're like, thanks for the money. Where
Cool,
did they
thanks.
think he had it?
Yeah, I'll take it.
What? Like,
Buried in a hole.
what?
My favorite is when he makes a big show of like tithing to the church.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
dumps so much in, and 5 minutes later he steals it all back.
That was pretty good.
But
This is what I didn't hate the Batman aspect of it, but it goes
no,
away
I just
so
hated.
fast.
I hated
you're-
Batman in this.
You're right, but you're right, Ken. Like I hated that it was Bruce Wayne and Batman, Robin Hood and Robin of
Yeah.
Locksley. That's super. It was so dumb.
It's very
But-
lazy. That's for
Yes.
sure.
But it was so obviously the same thing, except I like Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Right.
I like
Somebody
that
did
dichotomy.
This. Somebody did this way better not too
Yeah.
long ago.
Right.
So-
Exactly.
Multiple times, yeah. So this Janelle, the mine is a dragon horde, so he has a secret way in. Everything leads back to Middle
Actually,
Earth.
that does
It is
happen in
true.
the end.
It's just
Yeah.
Bilbo.
It's
The
very
mine does
true.
lead, apparently, spoiler, directly under the sheriff's
I don't.
like fortress or whatever it is.
That part is. We'll get to
That's
that.
the finale.
Woo.
It's like a what the hell?
It doesn't make any sense. So Marion obviously heard Rob's alive, which is like she had a funeral 2 years ago. So of course she's gonna be like, let me check this out. So she
Walks
goes to
right
his
the
house
Yeah.
and she's like yelling for him and knocking on the door, which I don't know, that place looks pretty abandoned. Like just
Also,
go in.
Wasn't it your house? So
Yeah, I don't know.
it's,
But of course, Lil Jon is like, hey, if you love her, you can't
Yeah.
go down there and talk to her.
this
which
was nonsense.
I think
this
you could
was
at least
dumb.
talk to her.
If
Because
they
he's
had,
saying like she'll also get hurt if they get hurt. But
Yeah.
like you could still talk to her. If you're playing yourself during the day, shouldn't you go
well,
still
and
be like, hey, I'm alive?
they in trying to be original, they missed like the biggest, easiest explanation for the Robin Hood story is have made Marion be in love with the sheriff. Then you literally cannot talk to her. And that's much
Yeah.
more in the vein with the original story,
Well,
right? Where
I
like
thought it was going to be like she has to marry him, or
Right.
she was engaged because she was, had no money and was
but instead
poor,
she
and
just
like
has a new boyfriend.
she's got a good guy. I
Doesn't
don't
seem like a big
understand the
deal.
problem.
You can still talk to her, I'm sure. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So then they're gonna do their practice. So this is their big montage of
Oh,
like,
boy.
let's get you good.
Big montage. It's
So-
like 30 seconds.
Yeah, but okay, Rob's practicing shooting, and Jamie Foxx, Lil Jon, has
Oh yeah,
a
he goes full wizard on
he
him.
has like a
He's got a
uh,
staff.
but
It's a
it's
cane
like
or a
to like a axe. Sorry, it's like the handle.
Oh yeah, it's
to
a
an axe
handle. You're
almost,
right. Yeah.
It's very long.
And
though.
while he's like
Yeah, it doesn't-
shooting at
it's
him,
not-
he's just like hitting arrows out of the air with it, which I'm like, you're not Legolas all of a sudden. I
Right.
don't understand what's
a
going on.
Jedi. No, he's a Jedi.
That's true. There we go. We're back to Star Wars.
Blocking shots.
And so he shows him his like fancy bow that he had at war, and apparently it's faster and better and all this stuff,
And-
which doesn't make sense.
There's they do like a scene for the bow where it's like
Yeah.
as he picks up like a slightly different bow.
It's like it's still a bow. It's not like it doesn't
was
have
so-
like
I don't know. It was
So-
like an action scene for
it's
the bow.
so weird. So he's teaching him all the tricks. He is
Don't load it on the left.
Yeah,
Load it
Yeah.
on the right. It's going to
he's like
save
it's
you
gonna
a
save you
second.
time, which
on the
I
reload.
don't know.
A second on the reload.
He's like working out with wagon wheels, like instead of tires, and
Yeah.
they are like
Yeah.
crossfitting.
He's always shooting.
Um,
This bothered me. He's shooting wooden targets,
Okay,
which get
I have that
destroyed
written
when
down.
you shoot them.
What does he have? 100 of
And
those
they're
in his attic?
and they're
They're
painted.
like
They're
painted,
painted,
like,
like
Renaissance painted. On
Okay.
these, like,
Use a hay
giant
bale,
wood.
like
Alright.
any normal person.
So
Okay,
if
Emily,
each
let me
one
no,
is
hold on.
getting
Let's
wrecked-
focus down on what you just said. When was the Renaissance?
Yeah, they
that's
are.
not gonna
You're
line
right.
up.
Renaissance era was 15th and 16th centuries.
So that's a
we
little
are
off.
300 years too early for that, aren't we?
So
Mm.
and he is shooting them and they are getting destroyed, but then they keep like hanging them up on
Who
rope
painted
and pulling
those?
them. And who's painting all these wooden like doors essentially?
Priceless paintings.
Oh, you know
It
what it
doesn't make
was?
sense.
I know what it was. I'm
What?
sorry, but there is an answer.
What is
Prior to this, him and John are sitting in the house, and he's removing them from the wall. They were their window, like
Oh,
blockers.
like covering
Oh.
things.
Yeah, they're like
But
storm
still,
window
They
things.
probably shot like 50 of them.
Oh,
We
yeah,
did not
he-
have that many windows.
Hay
that is
bales
weird.
didn't exist then. They weren't familiar with the concept
This
of
can't be
grouping
blowing up the
things
hay.
into
That's true.
all the arrows in this are a centimeter in diameter.
my
You could
gosh.
like sword fight with them.
It also doesn't make sense. They are wearing, I'm going to say it right now, Fruit of the Loom t-shirts and sweats
Yes.
during most of this.
There's a scene in this
Oh,
where he's
yeah.
just wearing a t-shirt and a blazer, like a suit,
Yeah.
a sport coat. When he goes to the sheriff's house the first time,
and like
he's just
when,
in
yeah,
a nice shirt and a suit
when they're
coat.
hanging out, they just have like a long sleeve Fruit Hanes top. It doesn't make
Yep.
any sense.
And
Yeah.
for some reason,
Oh, man.
however it was done, it doesn't work. It doesn't.
It's jarring.
It's not.
It's constantly taking you out
It's-
of the movie.
right.
yeah.
It's not like A Knight's Tale with
Which, yes, great example. Heath
Yes.
Ledger.
I
With
thought
Heath
of that
Ledger.
too.
It's
Yeah.
not like that. It's not like
No, because it's not consistent. It's like weird.
it's just
I don't
weird.
know.
It looks like they just gave up on the costume design. I don't.
Yeah.
And they're
very
just like, you
strange.
have just wear what you're wearing. Like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just wear your tee.
Like there's somebody who just has like a normal knit like dress on, and it's just like
At one point, I saw someone in a purple hoodie. Like I wrote that down
I believe
in
that.
town.
Yeah.
And you're
Yeah.
like, I think that kid had a purple hoodie on, which doesn't make sense. So then it comes to at night, the sheriff's minions, whatever, like beating up people in the rain, taking their money, and who shows up? Batman, bitches.
The Hood.
So the hood shows
Hood.
up.
His
the
costume
Batman.
sucks.
Okay, first of all, his costume is his clothes, and
His
then if
jacket,
you had like a
and he trimmed
COVID
the other
but,
guy
like-
trimmed the bottom of the jacket.
yeah, and it's
That
just
was
like a
it.
COVID-19
It's
mask.
It's
on.
yeah,
It's nothing. It's a
It's
handkerchief.
one of those. It's one of those neck gaiters that
Yeah,
you know.
it's a straight up neck gaiter though that he
It's
just
the Home
puts up to
Depot
his
like
nose.
blue one that you put in water to keep your neck cool.
That's
Yeah.
it. And that's his disguise, which is embarrassing.
And a stupid hood.
So he attacks, you
The
know, all
hood.
the guys. He disarms the crossbow like he's taking apart a gun. In that,
Yup,
takes
he
the
does
money.
takes the magazine
like,
out, removes the
Yeah.
slide.
the
yeah.
magazine throws it.
It's so
Yeah.
stupid. It's
Yeah,
so
like-
stupid. I think I rewound that scene because when you the crossbow looks like they took a gun prop and put two arms
like
on
2x4s or something.
it. No, like
it's
just the crossbow arms.
it does have that, yeah.
They just
but it's
glued
just
them
like
onto like a
if you just had like a
SWAT
piece
gun.
of wood on it. Yeah.
right.
It's so so then the next day he's showing up as Rich Rob. So he's talking to the sheriff.
Bruce Wayne. Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, it's no problem that like my house got ruined. You had to do what you had to do. You know, like here's my part, the shares for the war." And he like gives him a bunch of money. Once again, where'd you get all that money?
Yeah. Also, you
Ken,
served.
I found it. Hold on.
Did you find the Jesus thing?
Yeah, this.
Yes. It's not as bad as I remember, but it's like
No, but look at his legs
His-
and that are like a
they
foot
got the
long.
perspective.
Oh,
They got the perspective literally backwards. They made his feet
Why?
Yeah, they
smaller
made his
and his
body
head
or
bigger.
giant.
why
Look
is
how
it
big
like
his
that?
head is.
What the heck?
Because they didn't,
Yeah,
but like
they
it's
were having
clearly
trouble.
painted well. Somebody knew
Yeah.
sort of what they were doing.
Yeah, like look at the sheet is painted very.
Yeah.
But look at his chest. It's giant. And then his
Right.
legs are like a foot long. He's got little
His
baby
feet are like size 4, men's size
Like-
4.
From this perspective, the feet compared to the head.
His feet are the same size as his hands.
Yeah, it doesn't make any
Why?
sense.
Why is it like this?
How did you find that? Good job.
Did you say like smush Jesus?
Yeah, right.
Ben, this is your part where Rob shows up at church, pours out a bag of money. He's also wearing a Prada suit, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
I think he's just in the suit with the t-shirt.
He's in a suit.
Yeah. Like he came from
It's
another
so
movie launch,
crazy.
movie premiere. He exited Transformers 3 and walked into
Yeah,
this
why-
scene.
And then Marion also comes out in this, and I think she has a suit coat on and like purple lipstick.
And they're all
Um,
yelling in this church.
It's weird. And so she runs up and she's like, "Whoa, how
Hey.
come you haven't talked to me and stuff?" And he says, "You said you would wait for me. I thought you were dead 2 years ago,
Yeah,
bitch. Like,
dingbat.
what are you talking about?"
Numbnuts.
And that's when
Oh,
she has her
shit.
leather jacket on, I think.
Oh no, Ken just spilt a beer into his
Oh
computer.
No, I
no, it's all over.
Pinched my finger with
I'm
some
like, you're just
pliers.
playing with pliers.
What is going on here? I'm trying to read this Wikipedia article on
We're
this painting.
never gonna get done with this if you keep doing
The
this.
agitation of dimension of the work, which allows immediate proximity but denies any intimacy. This is
What
a
are you
quote
talking
from
about?
This
art
sounds,
historian
this
Hubert
sounds like my art
Schrod.
classes where you're like, God help
Ugh.
me
All
right
right,
now.
yeah.
Let's forget about that.
Yeah.
And
I thought you
they're
were
like,
talking.
"What
Is
do
that a
you think
review
about-"
of this movie?
They removed the intimacy.
What scene, Emily? I wrote down here in my notes. The last note I wrote.
The last one?
The last one I
Probably not
wrote.
now.
It was Dune Harkonnen. Do you remember what scene that
Harkonnen?
might have been?
What
I
would
do
that
know what
be?
you're talking about, but I don't.
Was it? No, I know what it is. It's not yet. It's when
Okay.
he goes to talk to the bishop and they're in the church and it's like him and his bald head and his big robes.
Yes. He
Oh,
looks like
yeah,
the guys
yeah.
from Dune.
He looks like
He's
the
like
dude
he's
from
got like
Dune.
dead eye makeup
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
I didn't understand the relationship between the sheriff and the church, by the way. But he's working with the church to
working
overthrow the king,
because-
but he hates the
'cause
church.
the
I don't
church wants to be
understand
in
it.
charge
But
too.
also clearly the church would like win if their plan succeeds. They're just going to kill the
They're just-
sheriff.
they're just
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
get
I
rid of
didn't
him.
get it. Why does he? But he's like obsessed with this plan. But he also
Yeah.
hates the church. But
I
he's
don't
working hard.
I think
to
he's just
work with
working
them.
'cause he
It's
wants
very
power.
weird. But the church made it very clear that he doesn't have any power.
Right.
Well, okay, so
It's so
the guys are
it is-
counting the church
nothing
collection.
that makes sense.
Shush.
Yeah, I've got no
And-
answer for you.
Tuck is in there. This is when the Hood comes in, aka Batman. He steals all the money. Tuck is left being like, crap, now I have to tell the sheriff that all the money got taken. Rob also leaves a little bag of money for Marion, even though, like, I think she's
It's a
doing fine.
fat sack. He
Like,
gives her like
yeah.
Well,
an
they
amount
just
of
had
money
that
you
s-
cannot hide.
They
Might
had
be
that
a little
spat in the
obvious.
church. He had to make up for it with a little
don't know.
little sack of
her off.
gold. Yeah.
That's what the
They
ladies
had
like.
that spat.
I'm trying to, like, skip some of this. So Tuck
That's what I
tells
do.
the
I leave money on the
tells-
countertop at bedtime if we had a fight the night before.
A sack
That's
of
what-
gold.
Just-
Just a stack of cash.
Coin.
a bag that
Loose
says Meg and
coins.
it's filled with coins. Tuck has to tell the sheriff, like, hey, all the money got taken. So he's starting to get pissed about the Hood. Marion is constantly dressed like she's about to go to a nightclub. And she's like
Yeah.
working in the mines or something. I don't even know.
Yeah, let me pull
Yeah.
that back up.
So Rob hears Tuck and her talking about how they should do something and give back to the people and all this stuff. And so that's when he's like, maybe I should give the money to the people and not just steal from the river,
Yeah, this
like whatever.
So far, Jamie Foxx convinced him to be Robin Hood.
Yeah.
He overhears someone else with the idea of stealing
like,
from the rich and
Yeah,
giving to the
poor
poor.
people
So
could use it,
he-
which he
he's
didn't
now-
get before.
He's 2 layers deep on not really into this, but I
He
guess
doesn't
I'm
know what
Robin
he's
Hood.
doing. So then he does another, like, he's stealing money, he's riding away on horses. He's like
Right.
Legolas style, like through the mines, shooting behind. Like he's
Oh, this
So
was
why-
so.
why
this scene
would we
was so
like-
dumb.
If you're the writer of this movie, why do we like Robin Hood? He has made no
nothing.
Yep.
There's nothing.
he has made no self-action to become Robin Hood.
No, and he's no.
Yep.
He just so this is when the people in the mines are tacking up hoods to show their support for the hood. So every rich bitch is having a meeting talking about the thief. Rob is there pretending to be rich, or I guess he is.
He's
but
trying to get a
whatever.
seat at the table, man.
So he's saying he'll like give a bounty to catch the guy. They're talking about how they should punish him and like all this stuff. So then all the rich guys leave except for the sheriff and him. And the sheriff is telling him about how when he was little, like the church would like torture him and the deacons would like beat them and all this crazy crap where you're like,
It goes
That's a
very
little rough.
far.
yeah. And then
Very
he's
far.
like, sometimes I just want to like hang some of that. Like, you find out the sheriff's crazy too.
Yeah.
Okay. So like he got abused. He's cuckoo crazy. All this stuff. So that's
This
when we
was-
just find
this
out
was
he's
weird.
crazy.
This
Yeah.
scene, which is weird and intense, provides no context for any of the other
That's
events of
true.
the movie.
It's maybe
That's
like the
true.
sheriff's crazy, and that's about
It doesn't help you to understand anything, and it's
No.
just confusing and scary. And the other thing that happens in that room when Robin of Locksley says to catch the hood they should do a bounty, and it should start at 1,000 gold or some number of
Whatever.
thousands, and he'll raise it by 1,000 every week until he's caught. And we have no context for how much that is.
don't know what that is.
More than he
Yeah,
can
it's like,
afford.
Is
Is
milk
it
a dollar?
a lot?
Like,
Is it
I
a
don't
little? I was
know.
like, I don't know, and nobody in the room acts like
But
it
once
is or
again,
isn't a lot.
Did you have your money in a bank?
Why are
Like,
we giving
where-
specifics to things we don't understand? If the only time you can
I
do
don't know.
that is when you're gonna just like drop lore in without explanation, and it just adds to the world, like the Kessel Run, right? Is
Sure.
this a fast ship? Well, it did the Kessel Run in whatever, and you're like, shit, I guess it is a fast ship.
sounds
I don't even know
wild.
what that is, but damn, it sounds fast. But when you sit there and go, I'm going to raise it 1,000 gold every week until he's caught, I'm like, can you afford that? I don't. You
don't
I thought
know.
you didn't have any money.
He doesn't. I don't. It doesn't make sense.
He's got as much as he
So-
wants, as he needs.
Yeah. Rob and John. Rob's like, let's go big or go home kind of thing. So they're going to do a huge haul. So there's a large collection of gold. And by gold, I mean like if you,
Furniture.
Aladdin style, found gold in a cave and like
Plates.
threw it on a wagon. Which
Oh, you know
doesn't
what it
make
is?
any
It's the
sense.
gold from the raid earlier in the movie. But I agree. They're like rolling in the tax money, and it's like gold shit. It's
Yeah,
stuff.
like as if the people are like, take the chair. Like, there's not gold chair.
Maybe that's
like,
how you pay
Oh, you're
taxes
talking about
then.
when they're going to do the bust on the treasury,
Yeah.
Well,
vault.
yeah. So
the
he,
vault.
so he, like, it goes in. This is how it goes into the castle or whatever you want to call it, whatever vault
The
area.
bank.
I think it's the
And-
church actually,
Is it? I mean, it just
which
looks
is
like
supposed
a
to
stone
be
castle.
it's one of the many edgy messages.
It looks
I
like
don't-
a
In this
Bond
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like the Italian Job.
It's okay. Well, hold on. We're not there. We have that movie too in here. But Rob sneaks under the wagon. And then once the wagon goes in, it like the ground stays, like it gets hauled up a floor.
Yep.
Now, the wagon gets hauled up with two guys standing next to it who must be like together 500 pounds minimum, which makes no, I don't know who's pulling a wagon of gold and two guys, but
The
they're just going to
commoners. That's
pull
who.
it. I don't know. Anyway, they finally see like Rob and shit goes crazy. He's trying to shoot everyone. He's trying to get away.
Oh boy.
Jamie
this is
Foxx
the
is
Matrix
out front.
scene, isn't it? The
Yeah,
lobby
like,
scene.
This is the
pulling
lobby
gas.
scene from the
Yeah.
Matrix. Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
What?
I wrote Matrix style arrows going everywhere.
Like-
and they hit these crossbow bolts. We're not kidding. They hit stone wall, and the
they
stone
shatter.
wall explodes.
yeah. It is
Like,
It looks just like the Matrix.
And like Rob is using his feet to shoot arrows. Like stuff's getting crazy. But here's the other thing: the people working there aren't necessarily bad guys. It's their day
Right.
job, right? He is shooting every single person he sees in
All
the
dead.
face. They're all dead.
Yeah.
You have an arrow to the face, you're done. You're done.
Well,
so.
you get an arrow to the face because he shoots it like it's a machine gun, right? First of all, he
Right.
cocks 4 arrows, and then he
because that's how
I-
bowstrings work. You just have to let go of one finger at a time.
like I just
It
don't
doesn't make any
understand who was
sense.
ever like, this is plausible.
No, this
Like
is
this-
this is classic. Sounds good on paper.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like
You're
a
like, wouldn't it be
modern, edgy
cool?
take on Robin Hood? Well, I'm a Hollywood studio exec, and we have no ideas, so yes.
Sure, try it.
And
Go
it's
for it.
what's the term? It's open. Nobody owns it, so go for it. We
Yeah,
don't have to
go for it.
license it.
I'm gonna
Ugh.
steal a word that I
Uh-oh.
learned recently.
Uh-oh.
That I've been using in
What's
terms
happening?
of D&D, right?
Uh-oh.
Like trying
Transmogrify.
verisimilitude.
Mm.
This
That's what you
movie
recently
has
been
no
using.
verisimilitude. You never believe that anything that you're seeing is plausible or real, or that
That's
this
true.
could even in any way, shape, or form be what's actually happening. You can never suspend your disbelief because
Yeah.
what you're seeing on screen makes absolutely no sense. It is a mishmash of so many different times, periods, and cultures, and the whole movie is a big slap together of different genres. It is
Yeah.
no genre because it is all genres, and so you just never can give over to any of it being
You're right.
anything.
You're right.
That is true.
It's such a mess of so many things simultaneously. And even all those things, like some of them they may be doing well, and it doesn't matter because
No,
it's
because
too
it's
many
so
things.
crazy.
Yeah. No, I
he-
don't think so. I don't
he
think there's
is-
anything
no.
in this movie that makes sense.
No.
Maybe,
There isn't.
No.
The
Maybe
Bat-
that.
maybe
There-
the Batman storyline. The
But
Bruce
even
Wayne
that
Batman.
fades
That's
to
weird,
nothing,
too.
right?
That's
Yeah.
true. The Robin
Goes
of
no-
Loxley, Robin the Hood.
So the way he
Yeah.
gets out of this though is like Lil Jon is like pouring gas out front or something.
Yeah,
He's in a wagon. He like
Where
jumps
did he
down
get
onto it and he like lights it on fire and goes away.
Honestly, where did he get that?
I don't know where he got the
Oh,
where he
he
get
no,
gas,
he
where he get a
decanted
wagon.
it in the house. They show him doing it.
Oh, it does. Okay.
He's
Oh.
making alcohol. Yeah.
But also, I didn't like that he's essentially the brains, and you
Oh,
hear
yeah.
probably 5 lines from
Rob's
him
a
altogether.
doofus.
Like, yeah. So that's weird. So we find out that the cardinal's coming, the deacon's talking to the sheriff. They all seem like they are creepy guys. Let's be serious.
Well, this is where we
Um,
find out that the main plot is the cardinal and the,
cardinal-
sheriff
Yeah.
are going
are-
to seize power from the king somehow.
Yeah. So they want to gain money to support the crusade to then like I don't know if they
And
were
they're-
going to kill the king
They're
or
in it
I don't
with
know.
Arabia. All
Yeah.
of Arabia somehow.
They're in it with Arabia.
Arabia.
Which I don't know why they'd be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, to tell you
Let's
the truth.
throw thousands of people at each other
They're
and
in.
let them
So
all
the
die.
money is going to fund.
The war
crusade,
still.
they
The
Remember,
crusade.
remember the sheriff telling the town
clapping
they
at us?
should fear the Arabia is going to come here
Well,
and they're
that's
going to
why-
burn down Nottingham and we need your money for the war effort. And while he's saying that, at the same time, he's taking all that money and he is giving it to Arabia to fuel their war
We
effort
get it.
against
Get it?
the
I
crown.
get it, but it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
So the commander that shot him in the belly, he's back. He's here to do God's work and hunt down the hood.
All right, this
So
stupid guy.
he's back. Marion's visiting Tuck. Friar Tuck's hair looks is what I wrote. Marion is saying like this is their shot. We can't wait anymore. Let's do it. So you,
That's
you
right,
know
they
that
have
they
a
have a little
plan.
plan going on.
Yeah.
But she's like, I'm not going to tell Will, who's her boyfriend. So clearly he's like not in on it. So there's a big party for the
Oh,
cardinal.
Sorry,
It's crazy. No, go
I
for
don't
it.
know if we're
This
there
party
yet.
for the cardinal.
Doesn't Maid Marian has an argument with Will, and he has like this whole
Yeah, that's coming up.
political. Okay, we're not there yet. He has a political campaign.
Oh, he's like, what about my political career? What the fuck are you
And
The
you're
talking
whole
like,
rest
about?
of the movie,
What?
he's been a good guy.
Yeah,
And
And
you're a
all of a sudden, all he
peasant.
cares.
yeah,
like-
you work in the mines.
Are you-
What are you talking
How are
about?
you going to throw away my political aspirations that I've been working so hard for? You know what that scene does?
What?
Okay, we're going to get to that scene, but you know what that scene does? I want to say this
Ruins
now
a
because it's on the
perfectly
tip of
good
my tongue.
character?
It ruins a good character, but it doesn't ruin his character. It ruins her character. Because if we're
Because?
supposed to believe
Okay.
anything good about her, the second that she thinks Rob is dead, she marries a guy who has no values. And up until
Oh,
then,
sure.
it didn't it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad that when he died,
But if he,
that she married somebody else who is a leader of the peasantry, like a person who stands up and has values and does all these things, and it's like,
that's
well,
why when
like
he's
you
like,
can't
my
blame her.
political career, you're like, what the?
So when
fuck are
he
you?
turns all of a sudden,
Maybe
and
maybe it's just a rebound. Maybe they don't give us any time frame.
That's true.
for-
Could have been like a week.
He could be a booty call.
I don't think so.
Sorry to derail your very legitimate
Could have been
argument.
a booty call.
Yeah.
She's like
Why-
living
but do you
with.
see what I mean? It like undercuts her
Yeah.
character
Yes.
when he
Yeah.
becomes bad because it's like, well, you're just shitty.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
yeah. So they're having a big party for the cardinal. Rich people getting crazy. It is like Moulin Rouge in a church.
It's like an
Is
orgy.
how I would describe it. It is
I was
wild, man.
Waiting for butt cheeks to pass by as it
Yeah.
panned through this
Right? Like
lavish
It was crazy.
extravaganza.
a waitress with champagne and like a
Yeah.
thong
Just
on.
cheeks. Yeah.
It's
I would not
very
be shocked
weird.
if that was in this scene.
They're playing roulette.
So they're
Yeah.
playing
The
roulette.
church.
There's like people
In
in
the
like,
church.
Cra- yeah,
Literally.
yeah.
Like
It looks
pews against
so
the sides.
crazy.
I know I said this, but it honestly looks like
It's from a different movie.
It looks like it's like Casino Royale.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's like
We
a
have
Bond
hit
scene.
Another movie.
Yeah.
So first of all, it's all the rich people, and then Marion shows up, and it was something like, oh, they handed out a couple
Yeah,
tickets
there was like
for
a
losers
lottery or some
something.
bullshit.
You're like, what are you talking about? Why would
Yeah.
they do that? No,
And
they
how
didn't.
did Marion
Earlier-
get him?
And
Right?
Yeah,
If it
Well,
was
Friar
luck-
Tuck does say, like he said to the sheriff, like it would be good to have some other people there, some commoners there to like look good or something, and he got
that's
her
so
in.
stupid.
I don't know.
That's I
And-
don't know.
It doesn't make any sense with what the actual storyline is that we're gonna kill all these commoners and seize power.
Yeah, so why would they even give
who
a
are
crap?
we impressing by having commoners in the party?
Especially if everyone there is in on it. They don't
right?
care.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
they're not tricking the cardinal into giving money. Like that doesn't.
He's
in
on
on
board.
it. Yeah.
The Cardinal Harkonnen.
I don't. So first of all, Friar Tuck shows up too, and he's got the craziest hat on. It is like a.
Trying to remember.
It's what's it called when it's like a top hat but it's round up top.
The 10
Do you know
gallon
what I'm talking
hat?
about?
I don't know.
That's what it looks like.
A
He's bopping
bowler?
around the party in yes.
They
in
have
like,
them. They
but
all
like a
have them,
tall
though.
bowler hat.
All the friars have it.
Yeah,
'Cause
what is
it's
that
like
about?
I was like, are they Jewish? Wait a minute, are they?
That's what it
That's
was.
what it was. It's I don't know what the word for
I
that
don't-
hat is.
Yeah, it was wild. Anyway, Rob sees that Tuck like pretends to fumble and steals keys from someone, which instead of going to him and being like, "Hey, are you in on something?" Because I'm in
Yeah.
on something, they like don't talk, which is stupid.
Huh.
Ben, is that me making that noise?
No,
I
it
think it
is.
was me.
It is Rob talking into the Discord.
Yeah, I had
Oh,
to shut mine off.
okay.
It's my
I'll have to
brother
mute it.
I
chatting
was like,
to Ben
what?
and
I didn't know if it was
Yeah.
me, and so sorry.
Emily's audio is mine, so she can hear
That's
my
why I
Discord.
was like, "Am I doing something?"
Yeah.
So Marion gets the keys from him. She sneaks into something. She's rifling through papers. She almost gets caught, but she doesn't, of course.
They
This
don't-
is when the
I love
cardinal
this.
shows up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
She's in a room. It's classic.
when-
There's a guard coming down the
Oh.
hall. He sees her shadow under the door.
Yeah.
She disappears, and it shows the guard
Nothing.
rush in. Nothing. It does not cut to show us that she's not in the room,
No, you don't even know where the.
showing that and there
like,
was
oh,
nowhere
that's
for
how
her to
she
go.
did it. Yeah.
Right. And I know, like, I maybe they think we're smart, but it's like you're supposed to show that she's not there. You know
Yeah.
that,
Show
right?
that she's under the
Otherwise,
table,
he caught her.
or like
The
it doesn't.
assumption
She
is
was
he found
rifling
her.
through papers while he was opening the
Right.
door.
Well-
She didn't like poof into air.
Right? And like,
Ugh.
because the whole time she's in the room, the camera angle is different. It's a different view
Right.
of her at that table. And then
Yeah.
when the guard comes in, a completely different camera angle. It's not obvious that it's looking even at where she was.
Right. Yes.
And then it never shows, like,
her not there.
how did she
No.
even get out? Where did she
Where'd
go?
she go?
I don't know.
And
Is
it
she
never
just-
shows.
Yeah,
you.
did
She's
she
not
have
the
to go out
freaking
that
Batman.
same
She's not the
door?
hood. I could believe the hood getting out of there. She's completely
The hood.
untrained.
So the cardinal shows up.
My
He's
head
talking to the
hurts.
sheriff.
This
He's
is
talking
making my
about
head
how fear is the greatest power, and that's why the church created hell and stuff like that. So you find out the big C is not a good guy, okay? Rob is talking to Tuck, and all of a sudden he's like, I'm sorry. And he uses Tuck without telling him ahead of time. He uses him as like bait to get in with the big C and the sheriff.
Ruins
And
his
he's
life.
like, this guy took keys, and he's like, shoves them on the floor. He's slapping them. And they're like, well, just kill him then. Which, once again, shows they don't care. So they wouldn't invite poor people to the party. I'm going
Right.
to say that right now.
Right.
Let's just kill him.
Rob, of course, is like, wait, don't kill him. And like makes something up.
What if we?
But
make
they're
him do
like,
a
well, then
dance?
disgrace him. Get him away from, he's not allowed in the church ever again. Like all this stuff. You ruined Tuck's life is what I'm going to
Yeah,
say right
you
now.
have to assume as the viewer that Tuck was on board with this beforehand, because you just ruined his career.
You totally
Despite
ruined him.
the movie has not informed us that he's ready to reject the church in any way.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
And he was like, do you trust me? And then he like
was like, I
ruins his
guess.
life.
And then
he
Rob's
yeets him
slapping
into
him
the
in the
window
face.
or through
Yeah.
the doorway. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, this is when you find out they're funding the Arabians, like all
This
All
I
that
don't
stuff.
understand how that makes sense.
I don't
You have to
know
walk me through the finances of how you fund
of how that's working.
both sides of the war yet come out on top financially.
But then they also are like, raid the mines tonight for money, take everything they have and then burn it. And when they actually go to do that, they start by lighting shit on fire, which you're not going to get money that way. Like that doesn't make any sense.
I didn't like, clearly Robin Hood has hit the sheriff hard enough that he's not going to hit the cardinal's demands. And so his response to
make
that,
sense.
him being the sheriff, his response to that is like, you don't think I'm in on this? What if we go
everybody.
right now? We'll go to the mines, which is
Where
the
everyone is. Everyone lives there now.
We're
Yeah,
going
like
to rob
everyone.
everything they have left. Then we're going to burn the whole thing down and we'll kill them all to remind them that I'm in charge.
Which is also like, if you don't have a town, then
There
what
goes
are
your
you
and
doing?
money.
you're just like,
Yeah.
what?
That doesn't make sense
And this
either.
is like, this was his moment. Do you remember the scene where the sheriff made it very clear to us that he does not like the church? And then do you remember the
Right.
scene with the bishop Harkonnen in the Citadel, where he was reminded that the
Yeah.
church holds is the
Right.
is the thing that gives him his power. And here he is in front of the cardinal.
doesn't make
his
sense.
moment, the climax of the sheriff's storyline.
Story. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does
He's, yeah.
Folds.
nothing.
Yeah.
He just is a bag. He just is like, he's just a minion of
He's a
them.
bad guy.
He's
So
what
this
was
is
all that
when-
other stuff for? He has no character arc.
Well,
He
none
does
of them
nothing.
do.
True. Nobody does
So-
in this movie, really.
This is when Marion's showing Will that she has papers on it with the sheriff's signature being like, yeah, give the money to Arabia. And Will's like, don't show me this. I'm a political man. And that's when you're like, wait, what? Like, that's when he says it's going to ruin his career. You
Oh,
don't have
man.
a career.
Yeah. Nor will you have one. You're
What are
literally
you-
too poor. That's how
They're-
it works.
They're
It's
outside trying to
11.93.
burn our house down right
Yeah.
now. You're
They
not gonna
already took
run.
our money and they're
It's
currently setting the house on fire.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Doesn't
two
make any
different
sense.
people wrote the first
In the second
half of the movie, where
don't know.
they set up this redemption arc of the sheriff, and Will was this like good guy, and then the second half of
does
the
flip
movie
pretty
is
quick.
like, why
Oh,
did
you
you
think-
show any of that?
You think the sheriff could have been redeemed to a degree, or at least turn on the
Well,
church?
Why?
Right?
Yeah.
Mm.
What then? If he's not going to, which he doesn't, spoiler, then why have that scene?
Yeah.
Why
I
have
agree.
that
Right.
scene at all?
I don't,
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense.
What was
Yep.
the purpose of
Yeah.
it? I-
Yep.
Okay.
Because you could, if you delete that scene from the movie,
That
He's
was
just a bad
exactly
guy.
the same-
nothing
Yeah.
changes.
Actually makes more
You
sense.
could still leave in the scene with the bishop where he's like, "Hey, your
do it
power
all.
comes from us,"
Yep.
and you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, I see that." Never finding out that the sheriff hates the church, it changes nothing about the movie.
Yeah. Yep.
So the soldiers or whoever are there to burn down the mines. Marion hides the papers. She pushes past two guards, which she knocks them over and then like hits the commander.
Oh
which
yeah,
you're
she like knocks
when-
out like
these
these
two.
Herculean
Yeah,
character. It's stupid.
it makes no sense. But the commander hits her back and she goes down. So
Yeah.
that happens pretty fast. So this is when Lil Jon and Robin Hood are on their way to like save the people. This is like crazy. So we'll see if I actually say this right. He saves Marion and puts her in like a person box in a wagon.
Oh, I forgot how
That's the
dumb
best
this
way I
was.
can
I'm
say
It's
just
a
it.
gonna
person
let-
box.
yeah.
It's a
person
jail box. You're going to jail. I'm gonna put you in the box.
Yeah.
We should just let you
I'm-
run us through this whole
well,
action scene.
I'm going to tell you what
Yeah,
I
I'll
have.
be
I don't
quiet.
know
It's-
exactly.
It is
It
just
goes on forever.
absolutely
Stupid.
nuts.
And it sucks, and it's increasingly bad.
Here, I'll pull it up
So-
on screen while
So
you. While
John
you
and
do
we
it.
just
Rob are
watch it?
fighting everyone, right?
It's like 20 minutes long.
Yeah, you're right.
The commander is trying to kill Rob the whole time. They're on horses. They're on
It is.
carriages. They are drifting.
Underneath
The-
the wooden roller coasters, they're drifting.
Yeah, the horses
Yeah.
are bursting through wood walls. Which, first of all,
Yeah.
a horse can't just break through like a
Pretty sure it
3-foot
wouldn't
wood
either,
wall.
right? It would just
Yeah, they wouldn't just run into it. Marion is trying to, or she finally wakes up and gets out of the person box. She realizes
The
it's
person
Rob.
box. Oh my
And
God.
they're having a little spat in the back of the wagon while he's shooting at everyone and while they're getting shot at, where she's like, "You didn't tell me," and like, all, and it's
Yeah,
that thing
it's
where he's
very,
like,
like-
"Duck," and he like shoots
Yeah.
over her, kind of crap.
It's
That's
a
stupid.
funny action thing, and you're like, I do not care about anything.
Oh man, that's
Look at how
there's-
shitty that costume is. That's the final product.
the
everybody
final
watching.
thing. That's the best.
It's a leather jacket.
That someone put like a pattern into.
That's the hood, Janelle.
That's
the hood.
Sucks.
What is that
Why is it-
hoodie? I
Why
like
is
how it's
it
called a hoodie.
trapezoidal? Why does it have 4 points to it?
Look,
But this is when they're
Why
going through
doesn't
the
it look
mine
like
bend.
this?
Wait,
Yeah. Oh my
stop!
God.
Stop! That was at the very end.
all right,
you big
I'll
jerk.
wait for that.
You're
it
not
was
even letting me get through this.
sneak
Shut
peek.
up. God. They are going through the mines, and this is when sparks are falling. First of all, no one's working. So I don't know where and no one's doing like, I don't know, metal
Mining?
work. Yeah. So there are sparks falling. There are steel cables. There is fire falling. Rob swings over to
There he
another
is.
horse.
Yeah.
At one point, they like jump down from something. Lava pours behind
Yes.
them, like molten, like
There's a 50,000 ton
like
vessel of
like falls
molten
over.
metal
Yeah.
falls from this
Terminator
wooden
style.
structure and just explodes.
No sense. So Rob is on a horse. Marion and Lil J are on like a horse and wagon.
Lil J.
They that's what I wrote. So the horses are running up the play structure. I call it that because it looks like a playground, like a wooden playground. They're going
this
up
was like
steps.
a high budget horse scene.
It must have been
Right.
because they're
It was-
now
It
like
was-
4
these are
stories
very
up
trained.
on
There's horses
like a
on
deck.
like a 4-foot wide
Yeah.
staircase,
like booking it
going
like-
up a tower.
and zigzagging like a yeah.
I'll be honest, this is probably the most
This is impressive.
impressive horse stunts I've ever seen.
Yes.
Truthfully.
It is
Yeah.
crazy.
It was crazy.
But then at the end, he lets his horse get shot, which I said that's a
Yeah.
big jerk
Boo.
right there.
Gets
And
shot
he
in the
jumps
butt cheek.
down Yeah, he jumps down
Maybe it was,
onto the
Good Life.
wagon with Lil J.
And
Are you
So,
referring to this?
what do we call it?
there
The
he
child
goes.
box? The person box.
The person
Person
box.
box. Is
But
this her
also-
down here?
yeah.
Look, there
Yeah,
she
that's
is.
her. She's out.
You would
yeah.
break your goddamn knees. They would just shoot through your leg if you jumped
Yep.
that far and landed just right out.
He does maybe he'll do a parkour roll.
At some point, someone uses what looks like a torpedo to like shoot the whole place up, and something huge explosion happens, and they all get kind of shot off too.
What's up? What's like going
So
on?
then,
Every time you think they can't come up with a modern version of a weapon by
They
just
do.
turning it into an arrow, they do it. Like if a
makes no
plane
sense.
flew by and shot arrows in this
Yeah,
movie,
you'd
I
be
would
like,
totally
okay.
Honestly,
believe that.
It honestly would be like they shot the whole movie with modern weapons and then CGI replaced them with bows
Yeah.
and arrows.
Yeah.
Joe, are you not entertained?
That's the stance at
so
the end.
true.
God, we've talked about it before. I want to go watch Gladiator.
Yeah,
Can we have a
Gladiator's
palate
always-
cleanse?
Yeah, we need 1 month palate cleanse. We're gonna talk about how good Gladiator is.
But then, okay, after the torpedo, Lil Jon is like, "You guys go finish this," and he sacrifices himself to like the soldiers, which makes
Does
he essentially like lets himself get captured.
Oh, that's
fights maybe
right.
2 of
Yeah,
them,
he like walks in there with his stick and swings it around a little
and it
bit.
makes
then
no
gets killed
sense
right
because it's
away.
not
Yeah.
like he.
No,
he
they
gets
grab him.
captured. It's
He gets
critical.
captured.
We didn't talk about the absurd hunk of metal that he burns onto his dismembered
I
arm.
missed that. You're right. His hand, he like sticks it
he
into a
heats up
tub.
a fucking 8-pound piece of iron on a cup, a metal
Yeah.
cup with a wad of iron on the end. He heats it up and just slams his arm into it and screams, and that's it. And for the rest of the movie, he has
Yeah,
a
he's
lump
got
of metal.
Also, I thought he was making himself like a fake hand. No, it's
nope,
just
it's a lump.
it's like a cap just on.
Well, and I was like,
flat. I guess he could
Yeah.
punch with it.
well,
but
that's the thing. I was like,
That's
this is gonna be
weird.
badass. He's got this
I don't
like
think
somebody around.
mallet.
He does
never
not
uses it
Never
once.
happens.
Not
Never happens.
one time the whole
You know what
movie.
he
I think-
uses it for?
I think he does at the
wraps
very
a
end.
stupid ass rope around it.
He
and
does
like
do that, and he's like
zip lines
like,
down. It's like, oh my god,
Oh.
no.
Oh yeah, because Robin Hood's like, good idea.
This
Oh my
movie
God.
is one of the worst we've ever
Okay,
seen. I think.
Very
I'm trying to go.
bad.
I'm trying to go quick.
I found it to be somewhat entertaining, but very terrible.
It is entertaining.
It's
but
entertaining, but-
bad.
It's bad.
So when Lil Jon gets captured, Rob gives up. He's like, "We're done." And
Yeah.
Marion's
Well, I
like,
mean,
"Now what?" And he's like,
quits.
"Nothing. That's it." Like he's
My best
done.
friend's gone.
So,
I don't even think he liked him.
but also it's that thing of like, you went to help all the people getting their houses burnt down. Are they okay? Like you haven't helped anyone.
Don't
You've
care.
just I don't
Yeah.
know.
Right, their rescue of the mine turned into a chase scene of just Robin
Of just
Hood.
them. So John was captured. The sheriff's threatening him. He's being a jerk.
Yada, yada,
And whatever
yada.
happened to burning down the mines and killing everybody?
Apparently
Why
they were
didn't
like,
that happen?
nah, because
Yeah.
maybe because they're chasing Rob. I don't know. So
Yeah, maybe it was
Marion
distraction.
goes back to Will, and everyone in the mines. There, first of all, Will is like, we all need to leave. We're all gonna get killed. We're burning it down. We need to go. And Marion's like, we need to fight. Which I'd be like, shut up. We don't. We could actually go like one town over and just start.
Yeah,
it.
right.
We
Like, I
can
don't.
just leave. We don't have. We
don't
can stop
need-
funding this idiot's like play for the throne.
Also,
Maybe.
we don't live in a great town. We're living in these fucking
Yeah.
shafts over here. or
Right, they're not
whatever.
even in the city anymore.
So
I don't know if anybody
leave.
does live in the city.
I don't
I
think
don't know.
anybody. It's like
Just
that.
Rob.
It's like Shrek, where he goes to whatever that castle is, and nobody's there.
Nobody's
Duloc.
there.
Yeah. It's, you know what?
Well-
the castle in this movie looks like
It looks like
Duloc.
that.
It's impossibly tall. It's impossibly smooth.
That's
And
why
it's
I keep saying
impossibly
castle.
clean.
It doesn't make
All
any
right,
sense.
let me find this.
So this is when she's like, we
Gotta
should
look this
fight, and she's doing a big talk and all this crap. And Will's like, or we don't have to fight. We can just leave. Because he's like, what are you going to feed all these people then?
Yeah.
Like, do you have any actual answers? And this is when Rob is like, you know what? I'm going to show my face then. And he does. And Will's like, okay, now
Who
what?
gives a shit?
Yeah, that's what he pretty
It's
much
Robin
says.
of Locksley.
Weird. We couldn't have guessed that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And this is when Will's like, okay, rich boy, who cares? And Marion goes, let him talk. And everyone goes silent. And I just want to be like, you two need to go away. Like, you two are so embarrassing right now. You need to leave town. They give a big speech. They convince Will to help them. And because he will do it, then the whole town is backing him up. So everybody's ready to
sure.
fight,
Yeah.
which is so stupid.
What I guess the movie has to end somehow. Sure.
I don't know.
Okay.
So, so Rob apparently has a plan. He's telling everyone the plan.
Oh, you
And
know what?
yeah.
Sorry. I keep you interrupting.
No, go for it.
I was watching this movie and I was so bored. And at this part, it zooms in on Rob and he goes, I have a plan. And, it's very like, here it comes. It's about to get real exciting. And I turned it off.
Doesn't.
I shut it off. I was like, I don't care. There's only 15 minutes left. I'm over it. I don't need
first
to
of all
see
thought
the
the
end.
movie would be over so many times, and then it kept going. Well, okay, he tells them their plan. We don't quite know it yet. But apparently, nobody's paying attention to all these people for about 3 days because they do a lot of work for their plan,
Yeah.
and nobody's stopping them. Nobody's saying, "Hey,
It's a very
what are you guys
involved
doing
plan.
down there?" They are taking apart the railroad. They are
Yeah.
moving beams. They are sewing 10,000 hoods. Like, it doesn't make
Yes,
any
they do.
sense.
Everybody gets
They're-
a hood.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like a
What-
little
what- are you supposed
takeaway.
to sew it yourself? Is
I
it
know.
like they make just
Why?
the hoods?
Why were they handing
There-
out hoods?
There is so much happening, and nobody who's in charge has noticed this.
No, they're
Like,
in the
no work
mines.
has happened
where the
in 3
commoners
days.
are.
Where I don't. The sheriff wants to kill everyone, right? So
Yeah.
he's always in his little carriage with he has chainmail like curtains, but they're always open. So that defeats the purpose.
Right, they're not protecting him at all.
But one time he is driving through town and a giant cross, 8-foot steel cross, drops in front of him. They I don't know, undid it from somewhere. I don't get it.
This was the heist.
And this is when the
This
town
is
is
it.
ready to fight, baby.
they were moving the money. I don't know
no,
from
they haven't gotten
don't
the money
remember.
yet. They were
No.
making.
No, this caravan
Oh yeah,
is
the
they're
sheriff
moving the
is.
money from the vault to the church to get blessed before it gets sent
Which is like,
to-
when did you care about that? I don't know.
Solomon or whatever
The war. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Arabia.
So
What? Sinbad?
during this 3-day,
And as it's pulling into the
Actor.
church, it is in a where
Cocoon. A
where the
coffin.
cross falls.
it is, yeah.
There's plates of steel along the walls and stuff.
It's yeah. So okay, while
Like an
while they were
armored
getting ready though for 3 days, Lil Jon broke himself out essentially. So he took a broken bowl and hit it in his mouth and then stabbed
Oh,
the guy
yeah.
and got
He
out.
got
It's
a
very,
chicken
eh.
bone out of the bowl and scratched the guy's face.
I don't even know. It's very weird, but he gets free, but you don't
Yeah,
really know
doesn't
what
matter.
happens. Okay, so this is when the fight has begun, the riot. Soldiers all of a sudden have riot shields. Like it's
Yes.
1992 or something. Will has lighter fluid, Tuck does. They're throwing bombs on the street. It is crazy. So then all of a sudden the gold cart gets blown up and dropped into the ground Italian Job style.
Yeah.
They're stealing a car or something. It is now down below and the sheriff's like, "Get that money!" And they it's so stupid.
Wait, this is where they move fire
Yeah.
with shields.
Yep.
Yes, that
Mhm.
too.
So
what was that
This
about?
this is the same Lil Jon trick. He puts a barrier of ethanol on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
We've seen it
assuming.
before.
He did this before.
Nothing new.
It's between the Italian Job bank score that just fell
Yeah.
through the road and the sheriff's on the other side of the fire. He says, "Get me through that fire." and
They
the
do.
soldiers put the shields down, like just on the edge, and just
if you're
they just
opening a door.
move the fire.
Yeah. And
They just
and
push it,
he
and
he
it
walks through with nothing. Like
yeah,
he's good.
the fire just moves.
He does have that great coat on though. That picture you found,
God,
that was
he's-
then. I
Yeah.
think.
And then
Man.
he sees that
I'm
in
gonna
the
take
past
that to the barber shop and then to Macy's and say, "Do this."
Do you have
in the
that?
past 3 days.
Do you have this coat?
In the past 3 days, they have excavated a
Under a
mile-long
river.
tunnel
Under a river.
Yeah, it is
with,
wild.
and they've laid rail. They've
Yeah.
laid
Yep.
rail to put the gold into mine carts
so
that they
have
can ride Donkey Kong style.
to then like get to a woods to then get to a boat where they're gonna put it all there and then go like downriver. Like it is wild.
Also, they load about 10 tons of gold into one
Right into
rowboat.
a tiny
onto like a
rowboat.
canoe or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, and two guys with paddles are like got it from here and just
Yeah, we'll take it
nothing
straight to the
sinks,
bottom
it
of this
doesn't-
river. Yeah.
So
Man,
it's
I love
just
that
chaos.
episode of Andor. That screenshot.
Finally though, it's like
This?
God, that is the only Friar Tuck. I
Look at
want.
that Friar Tuck. Where was that?
That's the
I
one
want
I
that.
know.
So much
Yeah.
happens where like Rob is fighting the commander and the sheriff and like all this crazy crap. At one point, Rob gets shot with an arrow again
In the heart.
In the heart.
directly in the heart. Look at him, bitch.
I hate
there.
that costume. You could
This,
not have
you know
done
what?
it worse.
After he gets shot in the heart, though, he just
She
apparently
pulls
was
it
nothing.
out, and he's
And-
Is
fine.
that before this?
Yeah.
Is that before he gets up and says,
No.
stop fighting?
This,
no,
no,
this
not
is
yet.
after.
That's after.
This
so
is after
he's
he
already
got shot in the
After
heart.
he got shot in the chest.
Let me see if I can find the where's
I
the
bet you
bullet
can't.
wound.
So after he got shot in the heart, though, him and Marion kiss, and Will sees this, which I want to be like, "What? You didn't know, buddy?"
Oh man!
Like,
Yeah,
Then he
duh.
turns into
Read the
Two-Face.
and
Yeah,
he
does turn
immediately
into
is.
Harvey Dent. Oh my God, I did not put that together with the
Yes!
whole Batman.
Yes,
Why
exactly.
did I not think of that?
He is Two-Face at the end. Okay,
Oh,
but all this shit happens. Rob yells for everyone to stop fighting, which they do, which I find that also
this was
ridiculous.
so dumb. This was like
in
his
the
moment.
street.
He
If
gets
you're
up
just
on
like,
the carriage.
"Stop!"
and
yeah,
he
that's
yells,
when he does
"Stop."
that move. And even like the soldier guy, they're like, "Huh?" Like they all stop
Huh?
and turn. Like
And they
So
don't
he
shoot
says,
him with their machine
you can
guns.
have me if you leave everyone else. They grab him. They drag him into the church or some shit. And this is when the sheriff's like, "I'm going to kill you, blah, 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 blah." He's about to slit his throat. And that's when he looks up and he sees that one of the soldiers there, or whatever you want to call him, doesn't have a hand.
He's got a billy club for a hand.
He's got a cup
got a-
for a hand.
like a pizza dough smasher, like a chicken pulverizer.
And that is when Lil
Right.
Jon pops out. He
We need a picture of
essentially
that
kills
hand.
everyone. Yeah, can you find the hand, Ben?
The
I'll see what I
stump.
can do.
It's a
And
stump.
it
It's
is
a
a stump.
metal.
And Lil Jon hangs the sheriff, which you're like, yikes, that happened pretty quick too, though.
But I'm glad it. Thank goodness it wasn't like a
Oh,
drawn out.
yeah.
Can you imagine if we had to watch them like?
Or I hate when they're like,
Fight.
"We shouldn't kill him," and you're like, "Just kill him." Like, just
Well, doesn't Rob do a no? I'm not going to kill you, and then the other
he
guy
does
hangs
for the
him, or no?
commander.
That's
no,
who it is. Okay,
he does for
yeah.
the commander, but so essentially you see them taking the gold out, meet you on Sherwood, that kind of shit. And then it says, "Seems like a perfect ending, doesn't it?" Like narrator pop back up.
Yeah,
And then it cuts to Will taking off his bandages, and he is Two-Face.
yeah.
And he is talking to the cardinal, who's like, "I'm going to make you the highest political office in Nottingham," which you're like, what? What? That doesn't even
Is
make
that
sense.
sheriff? I don't know what that
guess.
is. Because he's got the sheriff jacket on after that.
Yeah, he must be.
Oh yeah.
And Will
He's
says,
got the jacket on.
"Sure, why not? Let's try this out. Let's do this." He's holding up, he's like giving the speech like the sheriff did, you know,
Yeah.
in the like town
Yeah.
square. He's holding up a wanted for the hood sign. And this is when, oh, there it is. Look at this picture. Look at that.
That doesn't capture just how blunt. It's like a
It
horse's
is.
hoof, but filled in.
But
That's
at
what
the
he
very
makes.
end,
That's what he came up with.
Yeah, that's all. That's the best he
That's
can
it.
do.
So Rob shoots an arrow into the wanted poster, and he was and it's like, ooh, he like winks at the camera like my journey's not done yet.
I guess you
and
could
it
call
ends.
me a Robin Hood.
Like
and then
that's
he
yeah.
says that in the
Look
camera.
at him. And that's it. And that's how it ends.
Yeah.
And so that's when you're like, well, it would be, like you said, Ken, number 2 would be Two-Face and Hood.
I
you
had to
know.
look this up, but apparently Will Scarlet is one of his merry men traditionally. So they really flipped expectations by turning him
Whoa.
into Two-Face.
Wow, I never expected
Okay.
it.
I was absolutely shocked by that.
So
After I looked up who Will Scarlet is.
that you're like, who the heck is?
Joe, and now for Ember Knights.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, something to cleanse the palate from
So
Yeah.
then I
this
was
atrocity.
going to say that the only Robin Hood and Lil Jon I want are these two
Yes.
right here.
Absolutely.
Baloo and a
If it's
fox.
not Baloo,
Absolutely.
I like Baloo. I like how he just like jumps from Disney to Disney.
Yeah.
Right,
true,
it just
though.
is Baloo.
And also
and
that Friar
everybody's fine
Tuck.
with it. Yeah.
I want that Friar Tuck too.
What's
This guy?
he
Yeah.
from?
Yep. I want that.
No,
one.
who's the real one from?
I don't.
What's that?
I don't
from?
know. What I searched Friar Tuck and that popped up. I don't know.
Man, why didn't this pop up?
I
I'm sure it
love
did
the
too,
story of Robin Hood though, but this sucks.
It was so bad.
Like
You
Robin
don't
Hood
like
Men
Robin.
in Tights is a better representation.
Yeah.
Here's the
comedy.
thing. Nobody needed an edgy remake of the Robin Hood fairy tale. I
nobody's
just
been asking
wanted
for
a,
it.
I just
Nobody's
wanted to
done a
watch
very
Robin
good
Hood.
one in proper time, right?
I don't know. Is that Russell Crowe one any good?
I don't know. I haven't seen
I'm ready
it.
to.
But
that's,
I will
what's the
try
word
it
I'm
now.
confused? Hold on. Yeah.
But the thing is, no one likes Robin. Uh-oh, Momo's behind you, Ben. No one likes
Robin.
Rob. No one, Marion, you don't like. She doesn't have personality.
She
The
has
two of them
no
don't
personality.
even seem like they like each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have no chemistry.
Friar Tuck's a loser. Like the whole gang, nobody likes. And I hate that Little John the whole time in it. He does 5 words throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
he always
he's-
hangs out in the background.
He's barely in it, but he
He-
is the person. He's the
He's the only guy running
motivation
the
for
show.
Robin Hood. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But he's not. It's
Well,
he
the-
had like no lines. It just
The Russell Crowe one has much better reviews, but
Joe says, wasn't there a newer Robin Hood? Was there?
I think
Maybe
this is
that's
it.
the Russell Crowe
I think
one. Maybe.
no, this was
No, I think
this
that's
is
older.
2018.
This is the new one.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think this is the new.
Russell
But
Crowe was 210.
This has
Oh,
nothing. Let's
210.
this
Yeah.
has nothing to do with Robin Hood. This was somebody
It was just a bad
Yeah.
action.
who just
No,
made a
this was-
series of scenes.
Robin
that
Hood
were
is a
like-
coat of paint.
Yeah,
Here,
a coat of
right?
paint on somebody wanting to make like. This
don't
is like
know.
a kid telling you, making up a story out of all of his favorite.
As they
Right.
go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they also like Batman and Star Wars
Right.
and the Italian Job, like, and everything else.
I will be right back. I have to let Mom outside.
I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
on.
I was
We
going to
don't
say,
have
I think we're
anything
probably
else to
good,
say.
though.
Don't watch it.
Okay. I don't remember what our next month is. I'll have to post about it when I look it up.
Should we
But
do
I
Robin Hood
did-
2010?
I do want to watch that now. And
I don't wanna
I'm
watch it
gonna
for
make for a
D-list.
date night. No.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm going to like watch it and then we'll report back. Maybe before the podcast and then I can actually
That'd be
talk
fun.
about it.
Yeah, I'll try and watch
So-
it. Kate Blanchett. Wow.
Really?
Max von Sydow, Mark Strong, William Hurt, Oscar Isaac. Everybody's in this movie.
Well, I need to watch that one. Also, even the Men in Tights one, I told Ben, I was like, we
Leah
should watch that
Seydoux?
one after this.
Huh.
I'll
Oh, I
watch the
love that.
Disney one after this.
Yeah,
like that.
I'll
Like
watch
that would
any
be
of them.
great.
Yeah.
This was horrible. So
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. Well, thank you everyone
Yeah.
for
keep it
joining
real.
us and whatnot, and we'll see you next month with another D list. Bye bye.